Look at that stage, Jackie. Oh my god.
Pretty. We're stuck here in the command center.
Put us on the stage.
Put
us on the stage.
I'd love to do a bit of a walkabout here on the stage, but there are the bands coming through, and so far, this is very predictable. I expect both of these teams would have seen Soniqs coming in. Their insta-ban is Cafe, so that's just a staple for them. Likewise for FaZe, this is their insta-ban at Coastline.
No counter bans. Interesting.
Both teams have just gone very safe on their default bans. They don't want to play the maps they don't like. They're getting rid of it, and they're going to get into the nitty-gritty with the picks, obviously, of, you know, do you go for your opponent's worst map, is what we've seen Soniqs do a lot, or do you play your best map?
Ooh.
Ah, there you go. So it's actually Oregon first up for the Soniqs, and the Villa is really the one that sticks out to me, right? Let's not forget that Soniqs played Villa just the other day against Team Empire and were slapped silly 7-0.
However, Pengu was speaking to the Soniqs a couple of days ago. I believe it was Pengu. If it wasn't, it was somebody in the talent, and they spoke to the Soniqs and they said, we have been slapping everybody on scrims on Villa. I don't know what happened for us to lose to
Can't
Empire.
convert it.
So it's a bold call by FaZe. It makes a lot of logical sense, but it might blow back in their faces.
Oh no.
Final bans come out. Actually leaves us with Chalet. Clubhouse was one that I thought maybe would come out, but in this case, it is the Chalet. It's actually Soniqs' most banned against maps, so teams really love banning Chalet against Soniqs. People just don't want to play them on that map, and it's also the second most banned map for FaZe. So if anything, I think that this is a bit of an unpredictable veto from FaZe.
I think that's exactly what they're trying to do, is be unpredictable. We know how good Soniqs are when they know how the veto is going to go, and they've got VODs on their opponents. Clubhouse made so much sense as the decider, so I quite like the idea from FaZe. Let's take it away. Let's put them on a map they're more comfortable with, but that they don't know as much about us on.
We sort of theory crafted ever so slightly that Soniqs, when they're thrown onto a map and the map veto doesn't quite go their way, that 7-0, for example, might be indicative of a team that isn't prepared.
Empire, right?
That's what we're saying. So maybe by throwing a wrench in the works and throwing a map at the end there, that should they go to the third map, that's not going to look too hot because they're not prepared for it. I'm just saying, it's a theory.
All right, and all of you are good at the maths. I know that. That's why you're analysts. But Dev, I'm going to put you in the hot seat here. You did a little extra homework, and you did some more work on the map. So tell me what you're seeing.
Yeah, well, this is just Oregon so far. The first map in the series, Soniqs' pick, and you can very clearly see why Soniqs picked it. Straight out of the gate, they've got more wins than FaZe. FaZe actually haven't won it yet so far, and Soniqs just have a single loss on it. Now, that was a very close loss as well, a 7-8 against Empire, and I'm sure that they're really confident going on through coming into this. You can also see how many times FaZe have banned it. So all in all, I think Soniqs should be a strong map for them.
It should. And look at the defensive and attacking win rate for Soniqs. This is something I like to highlight because Soniqs are an attacking-based, objective-focused team. They do well on both the attacking and defensive side, which a lot of teams tend to trend one side more than the other. So that's a nice little stat for Soniqs to have on this map.
Wouldn't count FaZe out, though. That one loss.
Sure.
That one loss, and I'm going to go back to what I said. FaZe have been excellent this tournament, apart from when they faced Liquid, who have had their number. That one loss was a very close loss against Liquid.
What was the score?
I'm going to guess James will have the answer. And I'm
James, have you got the answer?
Which match will get out the
You guys have no idea.
You're good at the maths.
I think it was 7-5. FaZe against Liquid.
FaZe Liquid.
And it was on Oregon.
Oregon 5-7.
5-7, there we go.
There you go.
Woo,
Okay,
did my prep.
there we go.
The only loss,
Keep
5-7.
it together, Des. Come on now.
I've got another one that's exciting. Really cool to see Soniqs being so strong on their defense at Oregon, because throughout the tournament so far, I was surprised to see Oregon's actually attacker favored 54%. So
What? Say that again?
Attacker favored Oregon during 6 Invitationals so far. So to see Soniqs coming through, I believe it said 64% on that graphic for their defensive side. It's going to be great for them.
My God. Imagine having a nice split. Like you win 60% of your attacking rounds, 64% of your defensive rounds. That map trends attacking.
Nice map for
that's super nice.
One thing that I would want potentially to come out from Soniqs is we've seen how bad they are at dealing with the Flores in the elbow.
Oh God, that was super smart,
I would actually
though.
speculate, should they just ban that away? Because Super just cannot keep track of
What
those.
if you just tell him to
Flores drones.
No,
Just learn to shoot Flores.
I was going to say,
Shoot the Flores drones, there's Aussie, there's so many counters.
my God, I don't think we need to ban an entire operator just...
I mean, maybe they do.
No, Joe Bro, if you're listening, my friend, just tell him to stand up and shoot the drones.
Yeah.
It is the easier counter.
Well, he can't shoot people a lot of the time. So drones.
He can't do this. We're not bullying Super on the desk.
Okay, they are brimming with excitement, as all of you at home can see, but our teams are ready to go. I don't even have words. Okay, we started with 20 teams. Now we are down to 5. Who will survive? Who is making top 4? Who is going home? And the biggest question happen. Who is casting? Well, no other than Pengo and Intero. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you so much, friends on the desk. You've got the defending major champions in FaZe Clan on this country's soil. They won a major championship just a couple months ago, and on a whole other continent just a couple months ago. Behind us as well, the Soniqs won the North American League. Now, both of these teams find themselves in the lower bracket. One goes home, one goes into the Final Four, and we're starting on a pretty good map for Soniqs. So when you look at this Oregon matchup, what should we immediately expect between these two teams?
So the first thing to note is how Soniqs have been approaching Oregon as a map, right? Normally we see Super on that hard support role, but on Oregon he plays like a second entry. He plays the Buck, he plays the Ying, uses that secondary Heartbreach gadget. So it kind of changes up the regular style of Soniqs to be a little bit more front and forward, a little bit more aggressive, if you will. But FaZe, we know from their game yesterday that they can shut down aggression really well, and I don't think they're going to have any problems doing that against the side of Soniqs either.
Absolutely. Both teams, of course, excelling on attack. You saw it on your screen before we got to our segment about how they both really thrive off of the ability to entry successfully. Now, the edge in terms of sides was the Soniqs on defense. Dev pointed out on the desk that this is an attacker-sided map, which is a bit of an oddity for Oregon because we're so used to seeing it be almost a defender stalemate. So when you look at the tools that the Soniqs can bring, as you mentioned, Super on a Buck with Hard Breach, on a Ying with Hard Breach, the flexibility of the Soniqs as well to bring Rexon on Ace or Yeti on that Maverick versus a 33% win rate for FaZe on defense here. This could be a bad combination. Now, the thing is that FaZe is starting on attack, and they chose to start on attack here on Oregon. Now, do you think that's just simply because, as Dev said, it's an attacker-sided map at the moment?
I don't think it's that simple when you are the players and the coach inside this lobby, because when you're on the defense, you basically throw out the first ban, and that's an attacker ban, and I would argue that the attacker bans really dictate how these maps go, right? We talk about the Maverick being banned, the Thatcher being banned, etc. And, well, if you're FaZe and you can just react, well, let's say Soniqs bans, I don't know, Maverick. Well, you can throw them a curveball, and then you can ban out the Hibana, you've prepped for it, so you know exactly what to do going into it, whereas your opponent will not. It could also just be as simple as FaZe. They have really good attacking starting side, and they're just gonna, gain momentum, set the pace, because that's what they did yesterday. Once FaZe gets comfortable controlling the momentum and pace of the game, it's really hard for teams to find their way back in.
Absolutely. The other thing, too, against the Soniqs is teams have really liked those comfort ban picks, but there's been a lot of targeted bans in terms of Twitch, and most recently, Finka. Finka is an operator that really enables the Soniqs' frenzied aggressive playstyle. You take the Finka out of action, and you can completely knock off a big part of what allows the Soniqs to succeed on attack, and it seems to have a disproportionate impact on them versus other teams.
That it does, and something fun to note is that Soniqs is actually the team that has the biggest gap from top to bottom, where you have Grixer on 212 kills, on the very top, also ranked #1 in the entire tournament in KD plus minus and rating, and Super at just 77 kills at the bottom, 135 kill difference between them. And on the other side, you got a lethal trio on FaZe, Astro, Cyber, and Bullet. They are within 3 kills of each other, 160 to 163. They're so close.
That's insane. And we talked about this in the last couple matchups that you and I have done, and the other casters who voiced FaZe's action say the same thing. There are so many tools at the disposal of FaZe Clan. Every single Brazilian team at this tournament has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to players that can make immediate impact in gunfights. Yeah, you might take down Astro, but Cyber's still there. You take down Bullet, Astro's still there. Even Souls and Cameraman, who aren't in that holy triumvirate, as you talked about, they are still perfectly capable of putting in excellent work. And Souls has been hyped up as one of the best support players in the world. Yep. And Caravan's been around the block and can easily outduel everybody in this lobby. So for a team such as the Soniqs, who do take a ton of criticism about Super's ability to get kills, this might be the most challenging matchup that the Sonics have, because if Super has a bad day and somebody else on the Sonics has a bad day, it's very unlikely that two players on FaZe will also have a bad day to match that. Couple that with the fact that both these teams are so aggressive and they know how to go up against each other, that could be a very bad combination for the Sonics.
Yeah, you could argue it's almost like a trio versus a duo, but it really is. Grix are like all the way at the top, and then Rexon is like, well, he's top 4 in rating so far, and he's top 5 in plus minus overall. So duo versus trio, that means that there's more room for FaZe, of course, to make work of the side of Soniqs. But Soniqs are really on the board in these top stats because Grixer, he's second on entry, plus 16. Merc, only guy above him with plus 25. In terms of cost, which is arguably like consistency, it's kills, objective, survival, and trade, Grixer is 72, 4th highest rated as well. Clutches.
We just had
we
have a small tech issue right now, but it seems to be resolved,
Really?
which means
Let's go.
we wait no longer. Ladies, gentlemen, folks, friends and enemies, all of you watching, it's Sonics versus FaZe Clan. Oregon is map 1.
Let's watch this first ban here. FaZe, they chose to start an attack, which means Sonics, they start with the attack inside ban, so either FaZe, they have a trick up their sleeve to respond with. Oh my god. The desk spoke about it. Fresh himself mentioned, what if the Sonics just ban out the Flores, and that Flores drone, the Retero drones, will not cause an issue anymore in elbow for Super? And there it is. The Sonics have openly chosen to take the Flores out, and FaZe, they do counter with that response. The Ying off the board, that's a pick that Super loves to run.
I'm clapping like a circus seal right now because we've got 2 wonderful target bans, but even if they're not target bans, these are 2 operators who Flores on Oregon, I think you can make a compelling argument that he is firmly in the meta. As for Ying, this is a pick that certain teams really like to run with. The 2 defender bans in both Wamai and Valkyrie are quite standard. It means that there's going to be a Mira in play, but the attacker bans, those are the 2 to focus on the most.
Yep, and that is exactly why the whole attacking part is so important on the banning phase, because you have the most crucial operators. I mean, Thatcher's open as well, Maverick is open, Kaid is open. There are so many different ways that Sonics and FaZe can choose to play out this match. You can argue that top floor is the strongest bomb site. You can argue that basement's the strongest bomb site. It all comes down to how you set up the defense on the defending side and how you approach the round as an attacker. I don't think there's any clear favor here, but I will say, looking at how much Sonics have been bringing Ying and how much you can argue that they rely on it on their basement attacks, I am curious to see what we do once the side swap comes out. But Sonics are starting on the defense, so they can get comfy and cozy first. And Grixer is bringing the mirror on this first round. There is no Kaid on the board for them, and that's usually because when Thatcher's open, that key gets rendered kind of useless. So we're just going to see no wall deny from the side of Sonics.
Well, I'm going to keep a very close eye on these bans and how we feel that they ultimately impact this matchup. Surely you're not just banning a Flores so that Super doesn't have to worry about Retero drones. And I also want to focus on one more thing. When you and I casted FaZe Clan the other day, if you will recall, when they played against Dark Zero, one of their most crucial operators was Flores, and we almost tripped over ourselves how often we praised that Flores play. They got tons of value out of those Retero drones, taking out shields, dislodging defenders in tough positions, eating up ADSs, Banshees, bulletproof cameras, soft destruction as well. Flores on a map like Cafe has a ton of application. Oregon honestly seems like he's even stronger. But the thing is that I wouldn't be too surprised if teams that have some struggle to maybe get that utility start running a Thatcher. That's not the case immediately for FaZe, though. They run with a relatively standard composition that we tend to see.
Yeah, they want those grenades. That's going to be the Maverick and, of course, the Ayana. Then they play Super Astro on the Sophia, if you will, and I'm pretty sure he has the LMG because, yep, there it is. 150 bullets is hard to beat, and I think the one kind of different operator that they're bringing is, of course, Cyber on the Nomad. Not a ton of play that we see from her, but it does limit the flank from the side of the defenders, and of course, once you take the map control, you can start compartmentalizing what rooms are ours and what rooms are theirs, and cameraman gonna start opening up the hatch in security, and we're just gonna take it nice and slow here. Sonics are playing quite passive on side, and FaZe just taking map control as they usually would.
Statistically, this is not one of the strongest bomb sites for the Soniqs. It is one of the strongest bomb sites for Oregon, but the Soniqs had a lot of issues on it. Again, it really does go back to the times they play on Oregon and a Flores is allowed through the ban phase. Without that operator in play, how is it going to work? FaZe love to take control of Freezer. They love to go down laundry stairs and just punish the players and engage in gunfights. Do not be surprised to see either Bullet or Cyber go through Freezer and look for an opening pick towards yellow or towards elbow and towards the middle of the bomb site.
I mean, we've seen Cyber be so aggressive, especially on maps where typically we don't see it. Oregon, kind of one of those maps where it's hard to get a leg into the room, and Cyber, he's not shy to take it first. There's going to be souls right now, and the Frey going to throw a flashbang, try and clear that utility. Surely Nate will follow, going to clear it out because that's going to be step 2 of this round. Then they can push up.
And there goes a nade, and it's a hot drop from Cameraman trying to seek control of Freezer. Astro's in the back, by the way, and they're fighting back and forth in an absolute frenzy. But it seems
we're stuck.
Like there might have been a small hiccup. Well, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that's all she wrote for that round. And yes, Yeti, we are all that level of exasperation. But I would say that nobody really emerged as a clear victor in that round, so we'll wait for a call from the admins as to what happens next.
Yep.
But the setup from FaZe Clan, they went through Freezer, they had the attention, it was that hot drop through the hatch, 3 players inside of Freezer, and the entire attention of the Soniqs team moved in that direction. A perfect opportunity arose for Astro to fly in under the radar through back tower, command control pillars, go through box, and then start punishing the Soniqs. But I will say both teams started hitting their marks. It's entirely reasonable that either team would have walked away with that round with a victory.
It certainly was, because it was a back and forth, a lot of chaos happened, and we're not going to know what really would have occurred besides just watching it kind of unfold. But I will say that FaZe's approach to the round was quite nice. They did a really good job at timing the utility with the hot drop from the hatch, then pushing up together for that trade. They pretty much pressured from all 3 areas of laundry, freezer, and backside, and that's exactly what they were doing on the Oregon basement attack. And it's also kind of what Soniqs, they defended like they usually have, right? So if you're a FaZe and you've been studying the Oregon, which you definitely have at this point, you kind of can expect what the Soniqs will be doing. And I feel like it kind of showed, because FaZe, they really hit the nail on his head that second round.
We had an issue come up that was a server-related problem, and the server went down. So we'll get everybody back into the lobby and sort this one out. Again, waiting to hear back about the outcome of that round. You got to think there are certain occasions in the past where when a round looks particularly definitive, the admins will rule, let's say, you know, there's 5 seconds left and somebody's in a 1v5.
Yeah.
The admins will likely go, well, it seems very unlikely that the 1 in that 1v5 is going to win, so we will give the round to the 5 because really it was just...
It makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense that it was a technicality. Now, obviously, in every game, in every esport, basically, anything can happen, especially in FPS where a single bullet to the head is enough to kill you. But in that round, I don't think it was anywhere near decisive enough. I don't think either team had an upper hand enough to warrant giving them the round, so I suspect that we will see it from round number 1. But that doesn't work well for FaZe. Think about it. That unexpected freezer push with Astro coming in through the back, now the Soniqs are going to be aware of that. They might have somebody not fall off of holding the back of the map, and they might be waiting for Astro's flank.
Yeah, if you go to replay that round, you know, basement defense or basement attack, if you're FaZe, you would have to change up your attack, I think, because otherwise it becomes obviously very predictable to do the same thing again, and it's probably not going to work the second time around. If we do replay it, of course, we'll see the same bomb site, the same operators, etc. Nothing can really change, but how Soniqs chooses to set up their defense, and how FaZe chooses to, you know, begin the attack, those can be altered. They do not have to follow the same script, if you will, you know, spawn the same position, you know, drone the same route, go in the same way, shoot the same bullets, it doesn't matter. Just the bomb site and the operators itself, the 6 picks, etc. And it seems that we are on a 0-0 scoreline. So yeah, we are playing that first round from scratch. It was not definitive enough to give it to either team, and therefore we go again.
As far as I'm aware, they have to run the same operator lineup.
Yes.
They have to go to the same bomb site.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, they have to go with a similar, if not outright, the same style of defense. Now, if you're an attacking team, the discovery phase of a round can last anywhere from 45 seconds to 2.5 minutes, depending on how big the map is and how good you are at droning. FaZe Clan is going to be able to skip a lot of those steps because now they know the nitty-gritty of the bomb site down below. If the Sonics want to rotate people up to possibly roam, that's something they're going to have to confront. But other than that, there is an advantage that FaZe Clan has, knowing the way that the Sonics will set up. Ditto, as I said, the Sonics will have that advantage as well, because they knew the way that FaZe Clan was going to hit the bomb site.
Yeah, if your Sonics not right now, I'd roam a little bit, try and kill a drone or two, just to kind of change things up. We see Bullet going straight to blue here, also changing up the attack and approach. That's going to clear the barricade. And a Banshee? Yeah, oh, actually, just a barricade. That's unfortunate. So, basically what FaZe is doing right now is keeping Sonics on their toes because they're not going for that exact same one-to-one attack, but they're storming through the building right now. Good drone network in that prep phase. They know it's all clear.
And they're being very quick about this, and that's what goes back to that whole discovery phase, which we are in right now. FaZe Clan know how this setup is structured down below. So if you can save time droning out the entirety of the map and assess, okay, all 5 players are in the bomb site, yeah, they're going to be playing in different positions. They're not going to be sitting in the exact same spots, but at least you don't have to worry about the rest of the map. That means that the pace that FaZe can set is quite quick, and it already looks like that.
It shows. I mean, we're only a minute in. They breached 1 hatch, almost 2 with the Maverick. The 3rd one here comes out from the Thermite. Yeah, I mean, FaZe is really, really quick right now. That's the quickest Oregon roam clear plus breach I've seen, I think, at this tournament. But of course, with the rehost.
I mean, technically, this is a 4.5 minute.
Technically speaking.
It's taking them 4.5 minutes to clear this one out, Nick.
Very slow round, actually.
Yeah, it's actually taking them an awful long time. We have disrupted the space-time continuum. But I do like that they're changing things up from FaZe Clan. You have to.
You have to.
You absolutely have to. You cannot telegraph the same intentions. The Sonics are prepared for it. They now need to watch that box. They now need to watch Freezer. So if you're FaZe Clan, maybe try something different. As we said, FaZe do really like to walk down laundry stairs as well. Could they potentially send somebody in that direction?
We got the same setup with Souls and Bullet on the Freezer stairs, Cameraman on the hatch. So actually, FaZe will do the same similar setup here. Flashbang comes out, follows by the nade, then Cameraman drops the hatch. Watch it unfold on your screen. And now who gets the opening pick? We'll see in just a second.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess what's old is new again. And it's Kansan to engage. Oh, by a hair, misses out on 1. Yeti taking down Souls, and now it's the Sonics to greet and welcome the FaZe members with some bloodshed. And the bloodletting is happening now inside of the freezer as one does. A beautiful triple kill from Grixer. A hot start from him already, racking up points and leaving Cyber in a 1v5. FaZe Clan now have 40 seconds to figure out what they want to do. A flawless round possible, but Cyber's in no rush.
No? Waiting? This would be a definitive situation, right? 30 seconds, 1v5, and Cyber actually taking I would say like a small timeout, saying, guys, what happened, what went wrong, etc. Just, you know, counting down the timer, the clock, and really taking your time, not being in a hurry. You can use this as a mini timeout, see if you can get a kill, get that exit KD, but no! Flawless round from Soniqs to begin off the second time of the first round with that rehost coming in through, and I'm really, really surprised that FaZe went for the exact 1-to-1 execute when they've already shown their hand before.
See, this is what happens is, if you're the Sonics, you go, well, there's no way they're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're FaZe Clan, you go, well, there's no way we can do that again. And then the Sonics are going to go, but wait, what if they do that again? And FaZe Clan goes, well, what if Sonics think we're going to do it again? And then they're ready for it, but then they're not ready for it. And then we actually do it again. And because they think we're thinking that they think that we're going to do it again, but we're not going to do it again, that if we do it again, they're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's exactly what that was, Parker. 1-to-1 exactly.
Some of my proudest work is by the way.
Cameraman dropped the hatch as Kansan took the gunfight. This time around, though, Kansan didn't find the kill, so it looked a little bit better for FaZe to begin off with, but then Sonics getting 3 kills to the side of none, and then it looked very much in favor of Sonics.
It is very hard to hot drop that Mira window if you have not cleared the Mira player off, and they didn't look like FaZe were ever successful in doing that. The players from Sonics were farther back, but they never lost the vantage point that mirror window provided for them. And because the entire panel next to it was shot out, you could have somebody like Yeti playing the rotate by the washing machine inside of laundry with that huge angle all the way down to the back of freezer. That DMR is a 2-kill shot to the body. 2 shots, and you're dead. That's it. At this level, whether you're hitting the head or not, you're probably going to land 1 or 2 shots and do some significant damage.
Yep, don't underestimate the body shots, especially on land when hit rate is phenomenal. Also, this is why smoke grenades and flashbangs and utility is so important in Oregon, because when you are attacking down, especially in basement, there are so many lines of sight you gotta deal with, and the Ying Bang coming out from FaZe might not necessarily hurt FaZe themselves, but it will mean that they cannot pick that operator if they had ever had the intention of possibly doing it in this matchup. And they didn't pick any smokes to really supplement it either, so all they got are flashbangs and grenades. Same thing this round, no smoke grenades available, no secondary hard reach, just flash and nades, very straightforward.
Well, one beautiful thing about where our desk is positioned, and you might have seen it before we got into the match, that the stage is right behind us, is that when you talked about Cyber being in a 1v5, I turned around and looked, and guess what? Cameraman and Souls were talking an awful lot to each other, so they were using that time to strategize for the next round, while Cyber just kind of lingered inside a lobby.
Makes sense. I mean, that's the beauty, because previously during this tournament, we haven't really seen the players' faces ourselves, like it's been on camera on the screen. Now we're in the same area of them. We can feel their energy and really hear them when they go crazy. Of course, that hasn't happened yet. We are early on second round, but it's wonderful to like just turn around and just see the beautiful situation that is right in front of us. The stage, the atmosphere, the players locked in and loaded, super focused, of course. And Soniqs and FaZe, same story.
I mean,
Getting chill pill
is
here.
it fair to say the only thing missing is a crowd?
Yeah, that's the only thing, of course.
Fingers crossed. Soon. Soon. Hopefully soon. Anyway, outside of that, Dorm's defense.
Yep.
You talked about lack of smokes. You talked about the utility that's being brought, the secondary utility. There's a lot of disruption that can come in.
Yep.
The nade kills for FaZe Clan, very similar to the Soniqs.
That they were. Not really happening so far though, right? Soniqs got a C4 kill last round, but no nade kills have really gone out yet, and there's 2 more left from side of FaZe, but Bullet not really in the greatest position to use them because he's on the white stairs. There's not really a lot of verticality here available to him. He has to sneak up. No, toxic babes are coming out, of course. That's 1 use inside of Super.
There's an air jab, by the way, on the bottom of white stairs. And I believe this is a solid door inside of security, but Yeti will need to swing to the left as he's on a deep flank. 5v5 with 40 seconds to go. Surya Gate goes in. Souls is planting, by the way, and nobody seems to be the wiser. Cut off a cameraman, and now Cyber takes out Rexon, and suddenly the Soniqs find themselves in a post plant. Yeti knocked away, punished by Bullet, a good 1-2 punch. FaZe now finding their stride, finding their shots, continuing to narrow down these numbers. Crixer with 1, a double kill for him. That's all he'll get. It's Kansan in a 1v3. The man's clutched before, but not this round. FaZe methodical in the post plant, and with it, in the second round, they've now picked up their first round.
Very methodical, very slow, but also Soniqs playing a little bit too passive, right? I don't think I heard a single gunshot being fired when FaZe started going for the plant. That means the Soniqs aren't actively holding the walk-in from the breach or from the doorways or even the white stairs. That's a little bit too passive, especially if you start using those toxic babes early in the round to shut down the possibility of white stairs pushing up. And when you're not roaming early in the round either, well, you don't have any map control to start with. That means you're not going to have any map control to end with. And we saw it there. Grixer found some nice picks on that Kid Storm's Repel, but that's all they really found. Once the plan goes down, well, post-plan gets played out. Cyber hits some nice shots. Time and time again. Bullets playing so passive outside the white window. You see it from his point of view here as well. Nice headshots.
And just really well played. Lots of pixel angles.
Yep.
FaZe not giving anything up. At that point, the bomb site really works in your favor. When we talk about bomb sites in a post plant, one of the things that Dorms, I love the same clip, by the way, over and over and over again, you hear it, the same high-pitched shout. With a bomb site like Double Dorms upstairs, the one thing that really has working for you in a post plant, whether you're a defender or an attacker, whoever has access to the bomb site, is that you've got a ton of hard walls, especially right now on your screen, from trophy all the way over to the start of games and up. All of those walls. Look at all those walls. You can't shoot through any of them.
Nope.
There's very limited destruction that you can do, and the vertical play doesn't usually come in either. So the one destructible part, which is the floor, is nowhere near as pivotal in a post plant unless you have a nitro cell and you're a defender down below. So it's very easy for you to just sit back, stay alive, hold a tight angle. You don't have to worry about getting shot from below. You don't have to worry about getting shot through a wall.
But then you got Cyber on the Nomad, and it's like, well, downstairs, that's in control of FaZe. It's really hard to flank with those air jabs being put down on the ground or on the map. And then it's like, well, when they start planting, either it's a C4 to save the round or a Toxic Bait from Smoke to save the round. And if neither of those connect, for whatever reason, they get shot mid-air, maybe you're dead or whichever, you used it early in the round, well, you just lose. So playing too passive can only really punish you unless, of course, the attackers do not know how to break apart your defense. And we do see a problem, so to speak, for FaZe. The generator wall has been kited, so it's electrified. Of course, cameraman, he brought out the Maverick. The Thermite is available. It only really got the one wall. There now 4 is open. There's a really get there, but that's only going to slow you down, not stop you from going in.
Well, we have some time here, Nick. There's still 2 minutes left in the round, and everybody is still alive. Both of these teams excel on attack. This map, attacker favored right now. What is FaZe's perfect score on this half? What should they be striving for, and what is the point of no return for them if the Sonics start winning too many rounds?
If you're FaZe, I would aim for 4 rounds on attack. I think 5 would be like amazing, 4 would be like the expectation, and 3 would be like meh, if you will.
Well,
so 4 rounds if you're FaZe. You're Sonics, you're tied up 3-3, you're happy to go attack.
it is a relatively close map. What was the, it was 54% in favor of the attackers, I believe.
Yeah.
That is quite a small margin. Nice pick from Bullet, by the way, on the Grixer, and here we go again. Over 1 minute still left in the round. Soul's halfway, 3/4 of the way, completed. He gets the diffuser down. Nitro Cell goes off. The Sonics will now once again scramble in the post plant. Tons of explosions going off, none of them hitting their marks. Not a single point of damage done to FaZe. Rexon has fallen. 30 seconds to go. Where do you go from here as the Sonics? Again, the bomb site is going to work in favor of FaZe. They just need to sit pat.
We see it.
Don't really give anything up. They've got good crosses, but the Sonics are being too passive, as you said. They swing, a miss, and now Yeti on the return to the bomb site with limited time available, getting softened up through the wall, and it's a flawless for FaZe as they take 2 rounds in a row on the same bomb site.
It is way too passive from Sonics. The big difference that happened that round was that Super didn't use his toxic babes to deny the White Stairs push-up, so Bullet just walks on up, takes down Grixer, easy opening. Then Soul starts planning on that default spot, same as the previous round, and what do you know? 1c4. That's the only way the Sonics can shut down the plant attempt, and it misses. And we just spoke about it. If you play too passive, it's either up to the C4 or the toxic babes to win you back the round or buy you some time. And now 1c4, it doesn't do the job. It doesn't even do any damage. So FaZe, they walk away with the round. You see it here. Good holding. The second the plant got down successfully, you play passive. You hold the cross, you wait for time, and when there was like 17 seconds left, that's when FaZe aggressed once again. They were like, you know what, guys? This one's in the bag. Just walk on in, have some fun, take out down the kills, set the tone so that Sonics cannot have any breathing room. That's exactly what they did. And the last man standing is Yeti, who's flanking with 14 seconds left. No one's playing downstairs and no one's challenging FaZe really. And they're just showing that they read the map, they understand the map, they play the map, and therefore they end up with another attack inside victory. 2-1 in favor of FaZe.
The thing with Yeti, and I know that a lot of people that might not have intimate knowledge of this scene will look at Yeti and point fingers and say, what are you doing down here? But the thing is that Yeti is on a deep roam, playing off of a clock where he doesn't have to worry about surrendering the bomb site with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. The diffuser got planted when there was 1 minute and 10 seconds still in the round. Yeti is relying on his teammates to not let that happen. And because the Sonics end up putting themselves in that position, it puts Yeti in an even worse spot. So he now needs to retake a bit more aggressively. He's not going to be able to do that this time.
That was a grenade to the drone hole outside the building, by the way.
Bullet taking down Yeti with a nice nade, and that's it. Again, this strength from FaZe Clan on attack showing up. They've picked up 2 rounds. You said win condition, 4 rounds.
Yeah.
They're marching in that direction, and now they've got a 5v4 for well over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is going to help FaZe with their basement attack because less guns on the defending side, that means there's going to be an opening somewhere, right? You have laundry stairs, freezer stairs, E-box hatch, tower stairs, and blue. Ideally on this situation, if you're Sonics, you want 5 players alive, 1 gun in each direction, or some sort of information. Well, there is 1 bulletproof on the ground here. That means that there is some information inside of Sonics, so sorry, there's 2 of them, but no active guns can cover every single area of the map, so FaZe, if you strike from everywhere, somewhere it's going to be free.
Hold on a second here. Social media manager Intero here speaking to you. I've got a good opportunity for some content from you. I distinctly recall watching FaZe play on the old bank back when Maverick only had 5 canisters, and cameraman was not the Maverick. He had so many difficulties with the hatches inside of open and inside a small office. But did you see that pace that cameraman was setting? Somebody's been doing their homework. Somebody's been practicing their blowtorch. If you'd like to go back and compare the two, here's some free content for you.
That's just the Sweden major champions of FaZe Clan right now. They're looking a lot hotter now than they did a few years ago. And I mean, Maverick not having as many canisters as now, that was quite some time in the past. And oh no, we're going to see the same setup of 2 guys on the hatch drop this time. Will FaZe come out on top this time?
And Cyber on the Capitale will be the one to strike from the back. So FaZe are looking to exploit the Soniqs focus, and the Soniqs will now also have 1 fewer player looking in that direction. Down goes Grixer. A return from the Soniqs, but they still trail. Another from Kansan. A third could be his as he dances around the grenade, rolling in his direction. Super choking off access inside of Freezer, shotgun out. More toxic canisters to go. 1 can be thrown with 30 seconds left, but FaZe don't like this Freezer execute. They've pulled off. They've pulled the ripcord, hit the eject button, and now it looks like it might be a laundry take from the front because they've got those hatches opened up. Astro, the one with the diffuser, he's going down through Freezer. Super is still positioned in that area, and Rexon looks away at the wrong second. 3 kills for Kansan. Super claims Astro. That's diffuser down, leaving Bullet in a 1v2. He needs to find these kills. Tossing out a nade, he'll walk in. The bowling ball going. He should be able to get the Malusi, but no, a huge 4K from Kansan. Is he the one running for Clutch Minister? Because he seems to be able to do it time and time again. The Soniqs look mighty good on Laundry Supply Room. They've won it both times. They've gone here. They won't be able to do it again. And we got a tie game 2-2.
I'm not a huge fan of those Freezer executes that we've been seeing during Invitationals because if anything fails, like for example, Cyber was alone on Laundry Stairs. The second he died, which was the 2nd kill of the round, you only have to worry about 1 angle if you're Soniqs. That's Freezer. You can have so many different crossfire setups, and even if you manage to take Freezer as an attacker, you're stuck inside of Freezer. It's so hard to maneuver out of that area without the smokes. And guess what? The single player that was bottom Laundry Stairs was Cyber on the Capitale. The only smokes you really had available to you because, well, you 6'd off the Thermite onto Ibana. She has flashbangs, and we see it fold out. Good opening kill from Astro, but then it gets really messy. Kansan finds one here, shuts down Cyber on the hatch drop, and now the only players from the side of FaZe, they are stuck inside of Freezer, and it's just so easy because Soniqs, they really dueled up and put all their guns in one direction, and the outcome is shown on your screen, 2-2 tied up. And yeah, if you're FaZe, gotta spread a little bit more thin, or at least go for a different approach because Freezer, not the play.
Now, if you look at this Soniqs team, the difficulties that they had holding this bomb site previously stemmed from the fact that all of their opponents wanted to go through blue. And they did that because there was a Flores available. There's no Flores available now. So instead, we've seen FaZe Clan have to adapt. Instead, they're focusing an awful lot on Freezer because you know how hard it is to take pillar control. There's simply too many things you need to do. There's simply too much utility that you need to clear. And additionally, Soniqs are set up for that. So the fact that the Soniqs have taken Flores out, yeah, it might not have helped on those 2 dorms defenses, but on Laundry Supply downstairs, I would argue that is the main reason why right now they are tied with FaZe 2-2.
That's true, but then you got the Wamaipa on the board, and they're playing Capitale 2 rounds in a row. So it's like, well, the fire arrows, they will always strike true. They will never get countered or stopped in your tracks. You can fire out pillar, clear that area. You can walk in blue, smoke off the pillar area, then fire elbow, force that player back or to walk into your line of sight. You have other ways around it, but it's not as simple and it's not as easy. So I do agree that Florespan, they might play a counter here, but then if you're FaZe Clan, you have other avenues to really go down if you really wanted to.
There was a technical issue there from FaZe Clan, by the way, that delayed us for about 10 to 15 seconds. They swapped out some hardware. One of the players obviously not liking their keyboard. So instead, they've gone with another keyboard now. And
that's cool.
Honestly, a good peripheral makes all the difference.
I used to play with 2 different mice on stage, and I could change them. And then at some tournaments, admins weren't as happy about it, so you can only change like between series, not during the game. But some players are weird like that.
Like, what is it, like you've got one mouse and you're like, you hit the 90-second mark and you're like, all right, now I got my fragging mouse on. Like what?
No, it's like, if you're not feeling it, you know, you're not hitting your shot. Some people, they change sensitivity. I would just change my mouse.
I want to tell you that that sounds ridiculous.
Sure, let's argue that while we look at my trophies.
Are we going to do this again?
No, we're not. I'm going to leave it there. It's been done too many times. My point is, some players like myself, like Nesk, for example, we have this weird obsession with always trying to min-max with the best peripherals. Maybe FaZe were like, you know what? We just lost that round. My keyboard, not good enough. Pluck it out. Say, yo, admin, this keyboard sucks. Give me another one.
Well, the previous 2 attempts for FaZe Clan on this bomb site, very successful with about a minute and a half, and then the other round with about a minute left. FaZe was able to assess that there was inadequate control, get a diffuser planted, and then immediately move into a post plant. Already, this is a slower round from FaZe up to this point.
You got Yeti down below playing aggressive this time, starting that front 4 position. C4 here, when the thermite charge comes out, could do a ton of damage, if not get the kill.
He's still got it in his pocket inside a classroom, and there's a kill hole as well. And listen, he's going to hear it. There it is, but a drone goes by. If you were to do it, Yeti, this is the time. Nitro Cell goes off, and I think he missed what golden opportunity was there, unless he's again waiting. Oh no, Bullet's getting droned in. Yeti looks the wrong way. At least the C4 seemed to go off. But it's again FaZe Clan getting the first kill, and they've done so 4 rounds in a row.
Yep, they took their time. Cyber had a joins out a meeting that kind of drove by Yeti. It saw him, then they called Bullet to go over, and Bullet also finds a grenade kill again, 2 rounds in a row.
Well, weren't we talking about grenade kills on the pre-show before this match? And it certainly seems like FaZe have been steadily improving. The diffuser has not been planted. This is the point in the previous attempt where we saw FaZe Clan get it down. So once again, a bit slower, but they've done some serious damage, as is the Soniqs. Grixer gets cameraman. Rexon is a mannequin, and he gets taken apart by Souls. Again, the advantage goes for FaZe Clan, but Grixer finds another and will now need to ace clutch in a 1v3. Getting the diffuser down, but Grixer aims just a little bit wide. And it's 3 rounds on attack for FaZe Clan. Again, the Soniqs stumbling on this Dorm's bomb site. They've lost it 3 times.
Yeah, it's really curious to me because it seems like Yeti is the only person really changing up a ton of stuff when it comes to his approach to the round. And imagine Yeti had support down below when Bullet came single-handedly and just flanked him. That's a 50-50 gunfight. Sure, if Yeti wins that gunfight, great for Soniqs, but you have 4 players just arguably sitting and waiting, not doing a ton of stuff on the bomb site itself. You could extend out and help your roamer to try and achieve his goal. That is your goal of winning the round, because FaZe have attacked the exact same way with super minor, differences. Bullet tossed the nade below this time that really got a good kill here. That's super off the board, the smoke off the board. But besides those really small alterations, it's been the same approach. 1 person walks up right stairs, 3 guys are in master bedroom, and Bullet is down below. And it's been working 3 times in a row. 3 defenses, 3 defenses lost, 3 plants going down, and 3 opening kills from the side of FaZe.
Well, you said the win condition was 4 rounds. Oh, here we go again. Somebody's going to clip that, and they're going to make that little shout. An alert, maybe a notification. I don't know, maybe wake up to it in the morning. I don't get to choose what you do. You get to choose that. You said the win condition for FaZe Clan. Look for 4 of these 6 rounds. It's within reach.
It is.
Very final defense for the Soniqs. After getting the absolute stuffing beat out of them on Dorms upstairs 3 times, the Soniqs say, you know what? Let's not go 0-4 on that bomb site. We're already 0-3 there. Let's go somewhere else. Now they're going to go to kitchen and meeting, which again relies somewhat on you controlling that part of the map, but it does play out quite differently.
It does. And we'll see what Soniqs used to do, because again, this bomb site really works around moving around the map. I really don't think sitting still is going to grant you any more success than that of Kid Storms and FaZe. They're starting off in similar fashion. Early aggressive entry, following those drones. You see Cypher takes out the default cam as well, sets up that flank support. That is the Nomad doing good work. 2, in fact, coming for Armory flank, so they clearly will stop anyone coming from there. That's a big priority for them. Yeti tried earlier, he got shut down, and this wall is soft. And Astro, he's just walking to Kid Storms. How is he in here? They have no idea. That's a super free kill for FaZe.
And another opening pick in favor of FaZe Clan. Do they have more control on Attic? Down goes Yeti. Bullet has been the standout performer so far for this team. And again, 2 minutes to go. FaZe Clan up in a 5v3. We talked about how lethal the trio is for FaZe. It was Cyber a couple days ago. It was Astro a day before that. Today, 8-2. It's Bullet making this matchup his own.
I don't understand how they just walked on in, because all of Soniqs players were up in this very near proximity area, and they just got 2 kills for free. I do not understand, and now they're changing the pace, playing it slow, really taking the time. They don't want to lose this advantage. Good drone here in Attic, forcing Rexen back into tier 3 of tower, tier 2 of tower. He can't answer back, he can't do nothing here.
The real thing, too, just looking at kills and engagements, is that Grixer is the only player who has consistently been showing up in these rounds. The rest of the Soniqs just simply don't look like they're engaged in these gunfights. Yeti getting picked off, looking in the wrong direction. Kansan being killed a couple times, not in action. Rexen right now struggling to land his shots. It's been the Grixer show. Down goes Kansan, as was spoken of. Diffuser at the halfway point for Souls. Rexen has an intuition, but it's bullet to say no thanks. Grixer the only kill so far. He'll pick up his 8th, but from above and to the side, he's under too much fire, and he doesn't know where to go. He's castled off through double doors. There's no access to meeting. So instead, retake from above. A tiny bit of HP, stat padding at this point, as Grixer's 2nd kill still puts him in a 1v3, with Diffuser now at the halfway mark. Waiting from above, watching from above. And now he drops and he gets picked apart. FaZe Clan absolutely slaughtering Soniqs on these last few rounds. And they close out the first half up 4-2.
You know, Grixer almost died to Souls opening up that single wall in kitchen. I thought for a moment that was what was going to happen, but unfortunately it didn't. Grixer looking really good on the scoreboard, Parker. 9 kills, but Soniqs, they only have 2 rounds, and they have not found success anywhere besides the base and bomb side, but thankfully for Soniqs, that time is over, right? Because now we get the side swap. It's been 6 rounds. We swap it around, and we look here. Astro walked on into side, or walked up above, sorry. Then Bullet later on just walked into side. Soul shot the hatch. Easiest plan ever. And then once again, we get this like 1v4, 1v5 situation for Soniqs.
Now, you talked about in that round how FaZe Clan just walked right in. How do they walk right in and get 2 picks? Hold on. I gotta say, I admire the consistency. The sound, it's the same after every single round. Just as consistent as they are in the server, they are with their cries of enjoyment. But the one thing that you said, how are they able to find that opening? On the previous round, walks right in, gets 2 picks, falls off. But there were 3 rounds on dorms, 2 in particular, where you didn't get to walk in and get a pick, but you got to walk in and get a free plant and get out. Not just a free plant. You didn't lose anybody at all on your team, and you didn't have the planter being contested at all. So, at least half of the rounds, Nick, there was something from the Soniqs that disallowed them to know where FaZe was coming from. And this is why FaZe is such a lethal team. They have done this to almost every single team at this event. They can find and exploit ways into the bomb site or ways into areas where somebody's defending so effortlessly. And even in their loss to Liquid, FaZe Clan were still able to do that. They lost for other reasons. If teams cannot shut that down, they're going to be in serious trouble every single time FaZe is on attack.
Remember back in doing the Sweden Major where FaZe actually got their big major dub, we spoke of FaZe as like the European approach to the game with like a lot of droning and setup, but with that Latin aggression and no hesitation in decision making. And I think that's exactly what this Oregon is showing us as well, because they're taking their time figuring everything out, and then when they go really fast and they do not stop, 0 hesitation. And the moment they recognize that they've overstepped their boundaries, they fall back out. They do not surrender their advantage once they gain it, and it's why their conversion rate from these opening kills is so high and so successful, because once they have it, they do not let go. Often teams, they get really overconfident, they get kind of cocky, then they get sloppy, and then, well, they lose the advantage and they might just lose the round. Cameraman playing very aggressive on the freezer stairs, 2 ADSs, and used all 3 toxic babes in the first half of the round.
Very early burn from FaZe at this point. Cameraman's contributions in that first half largely coming on drone and with utility, not in engagements. He's allowed the rest of his team to flourish, ditto with Souls, and because both of those players like those flex/support roles, you're not used to seeing them top the scoreboard. Oh, Cameraman, though, you're gonna need to use your utility a little bit better. That's freezer control, or at least half of it surrendered. A minute to go, and it's a first blood for Soniqs.
Yeah, and big difference here is that when Soniqs was defending basement, well, they had the smoke available. Not the case for FaZe, and even if they did, no Toxic Babes left. So now, well, Soniqs, you've seen how you successfully defended it. Now you'll have to successfully take it apart as well on the opposite side, and FaZe have a similar response, but they got the one difference. Astro, flanking up above, could get at least one kill, but look at this. There are 2 players right below him. That's an easy picking.
Do they know that he's there?
No
There's
idea.
no natural flank watch in the Soniqs roster, and there's one onto the Maverick. That was a grenade in hand as well. Astro on top of that security hatch. It now necessitates an answer from the Soniqs. They have to turn and look in that direction. So they can't just get into the bomb site. They have to wait. They're sitting ducks. They run head first into FaZe. Grixer has something to say about that. He's been a lethal force, and he's still upright. Not anymore. Cyber picks up kill number 2. Now it's Rexon in a 1v2. No adrenal surges. A 1v2 becomes a 1v1. He has no intel and will need to plant, but he doesn't have the time. And FaZe Clan take their first round on defense. 5-2 the scoreline.
Not a convincing round by any means. It was quite sloppy, especially there just wasn't any diffuser control from the side of Soniqs. And that flank from Astro, it might not have done the most amount of damage possible, but it gives you that, all right, guys, we're good, 3, 2, 1, execute, and then like, oh, we forgot something. And it wasn't the oven left at home being turned on. It was that Astro was up above, presumably flanking from Tower Attic, down the white stairs, and just you leave Soniqs confused. Where was the gap? We thought we had control. There was no Nomad being brought out like FaZe themselves brought, so the flank was just oh so easy.
And the thing with that timing, siege timing as we call it, Nick,
Yeah.
was that the Maverick was positioned there with grenade in hand. That grenade was going to go down into freezer, try to open up some of the players on the wall, and then allow the remaining players from the Soniqs that were down in freezer to continue to push forward. But if you see, watch what happens. Soniqs immediately turn their attention back upstairs. It takes Grixer off of that spot. The Zofia of Kansan also has to take a brief pause. That's 2 players from the Soniqs whose focus should have been on the bomb site with 25 seconds left, who had to immediately try to bail out their team because nobody was on flank watch.
We also saw that similar situation with FaZe on their attack was that... Wait, let's just watch this for a second.
It's Astro, I think, who's the one making the noise.
I like that. The person controlling the diffuser was on the laundry side, all alone once again. And that means that once that person dies, well, you lose diffuser control. Sure, you get freezer, you walk all the way up. Rexon, Grixer, they got picks, they got kills, but that's all they got. Then they got to go all the way back to laundry, pick up diffuser, go all the way back to the bomb site, and there's 1 second left. It's not good enough.
I think what the idea was once you flushed out freezer, you've got that same long angle that the Soniqs were using all the way down to that laundry side by the washing machine, which once again, there's that rotating the single panel that leads into supply. You can control that. You've got an LMG or 2. There's going to be both a Finka and a Zofia in that area. You can continuously apply covering fire, suppressive fire, and stop anybody from going out in that area. You have no toxic canisters left. Cameraman died early on. Yep. So if you are that one player, similar to what we saw when FaZe was on attack, and they sent one player towards pillars, instead, what you're gonna have is somebody try to rush in. And I'm sorry, I'll stop for a second here, because again, early action. Soniqs taking control, immediately losing Rexon. Astro is feeling it. Cyber has to be sacrificed to allow them to go back in. Super with 1 kill, Kansan traded out. We are a minute into this round, folks, and already 4 of the 10 players are dead.
But you see, this is the key difference between Soniqs and FaZe when they're on the attack. When FaZe gets the opening kill, they never surrender because they tighten up and hold angles. The moment Soniqs got that first opening kill, well, Astro, he aggressed back into Soniqs and got the absolute freest kill ever, shooting somebody in the back. You see it in the replay here. It doesn't get freer than that. There's no support, there's no holding, there was no drone. That is a big difference between these 2 teams.
Never surrender.
Never surrender.
Never retreat.
Hold the lead.
Hold the lead, and that's exactly what they need to do if you're FaZe, by the way.
Yep.
For a second here, looking at these opening picks, 5 in favor of FaZe, 3 going to the Soniqs. All 5 of FaZe's came in a row, by the way, rounds 2 through 6. Also, 2 diffusers planted from FaZe Clan. One of the things that the Soniqs have succeeded in, even in their losses, winning opening picks, winning entries, and diffuser plants. So far, on attack, they're starting to find that footing. They might have lost the round, but they at least got the opening pick in the previous round. They got the opening pick here too, but they surrender any advantage they thought they would have had. Astro reads Grixer like a book. Suddenly, 30 seconds to go. Perfect time for 2 more toxic canisters to come out. The Soniqs find themselves in a 2v3, and the way into the bomb site for either Super or Yeti is through a window. You're so vulnerable. Yeti engaging with the Melusi of Astro. Barely hits him, but the bottom of this wall is shot out, and the moment that Yeti goes in, there's going to be at least 2 players from FaZe here looking in that direction. ADS eats a nade, there's toxic canisters in front of Yeti. FaZe can taste match point, Nick. All it will take is 2 more kills. Diffuser surrendered. Super on top of White Stairs can't do a damn thing. And on Soniqs map, FaZe Clan are just putting on a show. 6-2 match point.
Just look at how much more aggressive FaZe played that round, right? Yeti was in that big window in a 2v3, and you'd think, well, don't swing if you're on the defense. Don't swing, don't throw the lead. But, well, you also don't want to give them too much comfortability, too much ground on the map. So FaZe challenging Soniqs every step of the way. We saw it here in the first minute. 2 kills got traded back and forth. They even back to a 3 versus 3. See Rexon, he chased that second kill very greedily, and it punished them. Sure, Super managed to equal back the odds, but again, 3 versus 3 favors defenders, and this gunfight right here in Attic, that really swayed the numbers, because that means that Grixer doesn't get the injury that he wanted, and Soniqs, they have to attack just from the big window on White Stairs, and then, woo!
Oh boy, if this is how Oregon looks.
Imagine the next one. Imagine Villa.
Imagine Villa. This is a map that the Soniqs got embarrassed on. 0-7 to Empire after a really impressive comeback. The Soniqs go to map 3, and then the Russian squad absolutely rolls over them. The Soniqs can't even get a single round. You might be wondering why we're showing the players. The Soniqs using their tactical timeout. There hasn't been a tactical timeout used. There was a technical timeout, and you can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure that it happened after round 4, which is when the Soniqs won. If that's the case, and my numbers are correct, FaZe have not dropped a round since they swapped out the keyboard. So, see, sometimes peripherals are really crucial.
Who's laughing now, Parker? You said it was weird.
You said you used 2 mice, Nick?
He's using 2 keyboards.
That doesn't matter. Not at the same time.
I wasn't using it at the same time either.
Also, you're washed and you don't play the game anymore. Okay. So...
Hell plus ratio plus all that stuff.
Yes. I know.
Sure.
Again, we don't need to do that.
We don't need to do that, no.
I live permanently in that mindset, so.
I want to point out something which could be completely irrelevant, but I kind of want to just bring it up anyways, that Soniqs, they have not had the most international experience as a roster, right? Because they were grouped in Mexico and grouped in Sweden. That means that they've never really seen the stage as players, only as spectators. They are sitting right behind us on the stage for the first time as a roster at an international event at a big pressure situation. FaZe Clan, they won Sweden Major. They are very comfortable on the seat that you can call their throne because they won the previous tournament, the most recent one. Does that play an effect? Are you a little bit scared if you're Soniqs? Playing a little bit more, you're a little bit uncomfortable, you don't want to take any risks because, oh, it's a big important game. Well, if you look at the aggression from FaZe, that speaks confidence and pace setting. We're looking at Soniqs, we're looking at playing safe. We're afraid of losing, if you will. And when you become afraid of losing, you often become afraid of, trying to take the win as well.
The one thing I will say about some of these younger rosters here is not a single team is coming to the Six Invitational without winning as their end goal. Every one of the 20 teams here, yeah, it might be a learning experience for them. It might be them trying to, get better and more acclimated with their team and gain experience. Sure, but all of them want to win, right? But the one thing that Dark Zero said when they got eliminated was we didn't necessarily come in expecting to go all the way. It would have been nice, but we're happy with the result. We're happy with the result. We're happy with this new roster. We're going to take a lot from it, and we're going to go back to North America. If this is the end of the road for the Soniqs, which, by the way, I don't think it necessarily is. There's still at least one more map to go. But if this is the end of the road from the Soniqs, they've learned more at this event than they probably did at both Mexico and Sweden combined.
Absolutely.
And that is something you take back to North America as the already defending NA League champions, and you hopefully use to your advantage.
Yeah, and they surprised a lot of people, and this gunfight does not surprise. FaZe once again on top in these opening kills. Good aggression from Soniqs. It was super here on Ibana, tried to get that inter-kill. It got shot down dead in his tracks. That is the bomb site, by the way. That meant that if that gunfight had gone differently, that's a great opening from them.
Yeti's in the bomb site, by the way. There goes Astro. Nade gets tossed out. Cyber's also been downed as well. This tertiary bomb site for FaZe, not going in their favor. A pick on the bullet, too. This has been a very slow entry, but FaZe are primed and ready. And so are the Soniqs. Yeti's tucked in a corner. The moment he moves, Souls will be able to capitalize, and he knows that there's somebody in here. Down goes Cyber. Yeti gets picked off by Souls, as we talked about, and now Souls has moved away. He looks towards the stage. Adrenal Surge about to wear off. None more to go. Any damage that's done to the Soniqs will be permanent. Souls is looking to put some more in, but Kansan says, no, thank you. We're not done with this match just yet. Cameraman upstairs, 2 toxic canisters, popping the hatch, or at least some of it. Might be beneficial that he don't open it all up. Crixer now with the diffuser. He's got 11 kills, and he's about to get a successful plant down as well, as Cameraman tries to make noise to at least distract. This seems like an unwinnable situation for FaZe Clan. This meeting bomb site not going in their favor, despite trading blows back and forth. Still patrolling the attic hatch from above, but Cameraman must know that it's all but over. A nice shot on Rexon, and he's at least thinned the herd a little bit. Still 20 seconds left. Cameraman looking for impactless kills at this point, smoking it off. He could go for the diffuser, but it's miles away, and Grixer, who was sitting on top of his prized possession, gets the very final kill to end the round. Laundry and Supply will now open up for FaZe Clan. They will sit on match point for the remainder of regulation, but the Soniqs are able to get one more round to their name.
Yeah. And you need 3 more to bring it to OT to have a chance at winning. That previous round, it was a really awkward pace that Soniqs set because Super went in seemingly all alone. We saw it here. No follow-up at all for about 20 seconds. Then the follow-up came through. It was Yeti and Grixer who opened up the round. Rexon up above, very isolated. But this grenade finished off the injured Jaeger. And we saw Souls on side, isolated by Cancer. But if either of those gunfights had gone the other way, well, then Soniqs are in a 1 versus 2 instead of a 2 versus 3. So it really was important that the Soniqs just really won their ones. And, well, they're not playing as good together as a team as FaZe are, but that round in particular, they showed that they actually could take a risk. And they could take, you know, the win into their hands instead of relying on FaZe to walk into their guns. And that's what Soniqs needs to keep bringing. The decision-making, the no hesitation, even though there was a little bit of it, and just really try and claw their way back, because with 3 more rounds to go that you cannot lose, it's a long road.
It is, and the other thing too is that as good as the Soniqs are on attack, you're going to be running uphill on the 2 best bomb sites for the defenders. Laundry Supply in this round, and if it doesn't go in their favor, FaZe Clan can go back to it, or they can go upstairs to dorms, as that will unlock after this round is done. So the site rotation really does favor FaZe Clan, despite the fact that both Laundry and Dorms, that first pick, went to the Soniqs both times.
Yep.
It was immediately answered by FaZe. They do it on attack. They get the first pick, and they keep going. They do not slow down. On defense, FaZe likes to do the same thing. They don't relinquish control. They continue to hold their ground, and sometimes for the Soniqs, they can find themselves getting the first pick, but then immediately losing it and losing a second as well.
We just saw the attic rotation, by the way, inside of Big Tower, and that's presumably where Astro flanked from that previous basement round, because that's exactly what happened. We also look at Super. Previous round played Bach with that Heartbreach gadget, now into the Capital. Makes really good sense for basement. And Soniqs, well, they can attack the back. They can attack elbow, they can attack pillar, they can also attack the front, because with Wamai being banned, nothing can stop these fire and smoke arrows from the side of Super, and that's going to be their win condition. It's really the only piece of utility that can break apart the bomb side, besides just finding grenade kills by random or seemingly random. But first, we gotta work the hatches. There is a kite being brought from Cyber, so certain hatches are going to be electrified. That's lobby and meeting. That's why it's a little bit odd that Maverick is working the hatch inside of security, because, well, he has to work all 3 hatches now, and that's not enough gas in the canister to do that. So this should have been opened up by Super, and Yeti should have started working the other hatches, unless they don't care about all 3.
I mean, it's entirely possible that they don't want to open them all up. The one thing that opening up all 3 hatches, security, main lobby, and meeting does, is it causes unpredictability. You don't know if they're going to be used.
You should open them all in theory, in a perfect world.
And if you leave 1 or 2 of them closed, you know that nobody's coming from that direction,
Exactly.
so you don't need to expend any of your players on site looking that way.
So that's a small blunder field, but there might be a strat behind it. Rexon cleared out that bulletproof gadget with the gun 6. Nades are coming out, doing no damage really at all, but of course clearing out utility. We still got a minute and 10 seconds left, and Soniqs, they haven't really shown their cards just yet. It's Rexon down in Freezer, but that's all there is right now. Super droning out, but seeing as he is inside of lobby, it is kind of showing the sign that it'll be fired towards the small box, so maybe smoke off the hallway or rotate, then push on up from Laundry and from Freezer.
The Capitao always signifies the start of an execute, and it's Super now to break that gate. First pick goes to Yeti, down goes Bullet. Soniqs fighting for their lives on this map. Now it's Cyber gone. Elbow control relinquished, and 2 players from Soniqs will bite the dust, leaving a 3v3. Grixer isolated on the back of tower stairs. He could tussle with Astro in the midst of the smoke, but instead, Grixer goes elsewhere. 30 seconds left, and now it's Cameraman to fall. Souls and Astro, the last 2 players. Super Astro. And he'll have to be even more super than the 11 kills to his name if he wants to shut this one down. Still some utility. Soul's a beautiful shot on the Grixer. Again, even numbers. But there goes Astro, and it's a clutch from Souls to win the map. In the midst of the smoke, the diffuser needs to be planted, and Soniqs wisely double up. Not enough bullets, and that's it for Souls. 2 in a row for the Soniqs, and they're clawing their way back on Oregon.
Such a well-played 2 versus 1 from Soniqs. They usually, in most scenarios, they just go for that default plant and they pray that it works. But they've learned from their mistakes throughout this tournament, really looked back and reflected upon their game plan and said, well, when we go for those default plants, that's when we lose. Let's just duo up, walk into the bomb site, take that 2 versus 1. Souls will have to hit an absolutely ridiculous shot back-to-back to win the round. Good hold from Grixer, not extending down too aggressive, but FaZe did a really good job at holding down the control for as long as possible. This kill right there from Super, that pretty much defined the round, because that opened it up for Soniqs, and FaZe, well, they fell in numbers. Whoa.
We almost, oh!
Let's go, I smoked the fuck out of them.
Oh, no.
Let's go, I smoked the fuck out of them. Let's go, I smoked the fuck out of them.
He smoked someone, Parker.
He smoked something. I don't know what he's smoking, but I mean, he smoked something. I mean,
Good shot, nice shot, good nade. I don't know, something happened.
oh no, my Protestant ears. Oh no, I can't hear those words.
Yeah,
Thermite says it, by the way. Anyway,
I'm happy that Soniqs are now kind of acting the server, because they were not getting loud when they were winning previous rounds.
No.
They obviously feel the pressure of match point, and it's almost working to fuel them into the game.
here's a fun stat for you. Soniqs, for their entire team, 19 kills if your name isn't Grixer. If your name is Grixer, 13 kills. So that might not seem like a lot, but what a disparity that is.
I mean, we look at the stats, right? Grixer is the #1 rated player with 1.32 rating. Paolo is currently second. Grixer, same story. Highest KD plus minus. He's plus 83, with Paolo in second place being plus 54. So Grixer, phenomenal tournament. Now Soniqs, they're droning out, taking control, playing it slow. That's wise, because Cyber was very nearby. He gets that into drone, then falls back. Really well done roam here from FaZe. Not extending too far around, but yeah, slowing Soniqs down. Exactly what Soniqs didn't do on their defense. And now we look at the drone count top left. There are 6 drones left from the side of Soniqs. It means that they have limited information. Either a flank will be open, or just limited entry for these attackers. Now we actually see Rexon has to drone for himself, because there are no support drones to do it for him. That's going to really slow you down. But also, it's harder to take gunfights, because, well, you gotta do both the droning work and the shooting work.
Well, we talked about the site rotation. It very much favors FaZe Clan as to what's open. It's not like all of a sudden you're on unfavorable bomb sites with 1 or 2 rounds to go. Everything is open at this present moment. Every single bomb site for FaZe Clan. They're going to go upstairs to dorms. Need I remind you that both dorms and the laundry attacks from the Soniqs started off very well. But then after that, they lost control. They took their foot off that accelerator, and FaZe Clan took up space. We went through and dissected what happened in those rounds. We don't need to do it again. But both of these teams now showing that on attack here in Oregon, they've absolutely got some teeth. Soniqs have quite that steep mountain to climb, as we talked about, but it's still very doable. And with a minute, just over a minute to go, they look like they've cleared out most of that main floor and now need to head towards the bombs. Nice shot by Cyber. Oh my goodness.
And 2 drones left from Soniqs. They have no information once it comes to the bomb site. Sure, they almost got kitchen control, but that's not what the bomb site is. It's up above in Kid Storms. And, well, if you can't see, it's hard to fight back, hard to strategize around it in Soniqs. You gotta find an opening somewhere. And unless FaZe just gives it to you, I really fear it's possible.
Well, Soniq's still down below, as you talked about, but there's a wild card, and it's Kansan inside of Attic. He knows that someone's there. He spotted the legs and will drop.
I don't think they know.
Do they know that there's a sound here? Super gets picked off. If you're Kansan, you've got to go quickly, and there you go. There'll be chaos in the ranks of FaZe, and a jump in is now possible. There's one player over by Bunks. Kansan needs to get him out of that spot. If you can't do that, the Soniqs can't get the diffuser down. Astro engaging, winning the gunfight. That's diffuser surrendered as well. This is a great spot. There goes Kansan, and Rexon has nothing to do. A valiant effort, but too little too late for the Soniqs, as it's a 7-4 scoreline, and FaZe Clan take the Soniqs map.
Soniqs couldn't capitalize. Kansan got inside the bomb site on Kid Storms, but they couldn't finish out the round despite getting that opening that they needed, and they get punished. Astro with a drop shot somehow wins the gunfight with a sliver of HP against Iana of Yeti. And that right there was a really, really rough beginning for Soniqs. Then they looked a little bit better, but that's where it ended.
It took them a while to wake up, but once they got up, they were doing pretty well. But you leave yourself absolutely no room for mistakes, no room for error. If you make even one slip up, you'll lose one engagement, you misplace your utility. That's it. There's no coming back. So the Soniqs, despite that spirited effort, despite taking 2 rounds in a row and making North American fans and Soniqs fans believers that something could happen, they don't come quite far enough. That leaves us, Nick, for Villa as map number 2. This is the map where if you go into a best of 3 and you expect to win your map, a map like Villa for the Soniqs is not necessarily a map that they are expecting to win, and that could be trouble for them in this series.
It could, but the thing is, well, it is the... Woo! It is the map choice of FaZe, so Soniqs can start on defense, they can get comfortable, try and get some rounds, and then maybe get comfortable with the fact that they're not behind anymore. But that's what happened on Oregon. Soniqs got defense, but they didn't get the lead. And then it gets really difficult when you're in the attack inside, especially when that pressure is mounting upon you.
Absolutely. And again, with the Soniqs, they have a young roster. They're still learning. They've slowly improved as a team. Mexico and Sweden, they get grouped. They win the NA League Finals, and now here they are as one of the final 5 teams. But we're about to go down to the final 4. The Soniqs right now look like the team that's going to go home. Will FaZe Clan put them out of their misery on map number 2? We'll find out in just a couple minutes. We got a break ready first, though.
Map 1, Oregon going to FaZe. Soniqs losing 7-4. A little bit of a comeback there, but the rest of it was pretty shaky. I'm Jackie Jing, and I am with our lovely analyst desk. We got Fress and Jess.
Oh, that's a new duo name.
Yeah, we got a duo.
I guess I'll just leave.
We got Jess, we got Deb.
Hi, Dev.
Oh, thanks.
Of that. It would be like fresh as of... We're done. We're going to start talking about this series here. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But we do want to talk about this map that we just saw. We're throwing up the highlights here. And Fresh, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. FaZe adapted super well, and you said the Soniqs were static, and FaZe, they just adjusted.
I think we set the scene in the pre-match, and we talked about how Soniqs, when they've got a plan that's been developed from VODs, they're very good. But when they don't have a plan and they're just running through their strats, their adaptation in-game is very poor. FaZe took advantage of that. They got free Kid Storm's attacks, where they noticed little things on the adaptations. They capitalized on those things and got very easy wins.
You know what? Predictability in this game can be a good thing, but 9 times out of 10, when you have a good support staffing system or a good mind on the team, it can be a very, very bad thing. And I think what FaZe has worked out is that Soniqs on Oregon specifically, and I'm going to target Yeti here, love you, my man, but he was predictable from day dot. We have seen him roaming and lurking throughout Zulu on Oregon, around showers, bottom white, for example. How many times did he get caught off by them putting a player outside white window and just holding the angle? They got free kills round after round from just holding one single angle.
It felt like every round Yeti was either the first to die or the last to die as he was rotating back to site after all his teammates had died. So a great FaZe execute. By the way, can we just say, FaZe, all 4 attack rounds that they won, they planted. And they liked planting early. They're like, look, 1 minute left to go. That's fine. We got what we need. Let's go in.
You know what? They were actually not as highly rated on that graphic I brought up in the pre-match against Soniqs when it came to plants. So maybe FaZe has taken the power from Soniqs and gone, you like to plant? No, we like to plant more. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
I mean, Soniqs were giving it, particularly on the Kid Storm site. Soniqs were playing so passive. FaZe got the plants on the breach every single time.
Do that.
You can't do that.
It was
Can't let them have it.
Soniqs were just kind of defending it as if it wasn't going to be a master-sided attack.
Okay, and we do have our Map 1 summary up now, and let's take a closer look at the numbers. Jess, the Go Grixer strategy. Not enough here. I mean, he popped off, but the rest of the team, ugh.
They got to the last page of that strat book and Super said, all right, Grixer go kill. This is our last strategy. He did. Was that enough? No. And I think that, you know, a couple of the players outside of Super were having a bad day at the office. And likewise on the FaZe roster, I was calling cameraman out round after round, but there was several players that picked up the slack on FaZe.
I mean, I've been so critical of Astro. I was during the Sweden Major, and I was thinking coming into this tournament, Astro needs to turn up because he must be playing for his spot.
There you go.
And boy, is he turning up. He just keeps doing it every single, and it's the flanks on the Malusi, which is, it's a curious actually role that he plays, because he plays the hard breach on attack and then the Malusi on the defense, and they're allowing him to get active, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, honestly, really phenomenal from FaZe, that whole map through and through. Interesting to see Soniqs ban out the Flores. We talked about it a little bit in the pre-show. It was a bit of a joke, right? Like, oh,
so
Super
just shoot
can't
them,
shoot.
and then
like, they were like, hey, let's ban it, and credit to them. Their basement attacks were fine. Not that we really saw much of a blue push from FaZe anyway, but the thing is, you can successfully defend laundry supply twice in a row or twice throughout your half, but if you can't defend dorms or kitchen, you're hopeless. Like, you're still going to lose that half 4-2, and that's exactly what we saw because FaZe, they had such good attacks.
It's so awful to have to explain to the audience that you bring up a stat graphic before you jump into a map and you're like, look at Soniqs, they got a 60% attacking rate, 64% defensive. Wow, this is a great team. Look when they jump in the map and they can defend one side. And you're like, trust me, I wasn't lying. I swear to you, those are the stats. I mean,
it's not the lack of being able to defend. It's the same attack was coming out of FaZe and Soniqs were just doing nothing about it. Particularly the Kid Storm site. I think the 3rd time they defended it, they brought along a Maestro. But that was null and void as soon as Yeti's dead on the entry because they know he's going to be in Classroom. As soon as they've naded out Super because he's playing the same static position, and Soniqs are in a 3v5. They can't use the Maestro to plant deny in a 3v5.
I think this teaches a lesson to everyone that you cannot do the same thing over and over and expect a, same result of success when teams are at this level. We're at the top 6. Teams are not just going to spend the night before not stratting or counter-stratting you. This is just not going to happen.
And the way that FaZe just takes so much initiative as well is what's so impressive. They don't mind executing in a 5v5. When we flipped onto the other half, and it's time for Soniqs to turn up. I mean, they're trying these roams, they're trying to contest, but they're ending up losing it. And we're not ever seeing Soniqs get the chance to do what FaZe were doing, a 5v5 execute.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want us to look ahead a little bit here. Let's talk about map 2, Villa. That's FaZe's map pick. And the last time the Soniqs saw this map, they lost. And not just lost, they were stomped, they were dominated. It was not pretty. That map score was 7-0 against Empire. That really hurts to say.
I mean, it hurts to look at the right-hand side of your screen right now.
Big stat there.
Is it not a big stat? That's a little
small
stat.
stat.
Very, very tiny.
Yeah, that 22% attacking win, yeah, that's what a 7-0 stomp might get you. And especially when you're not very sort of favorable on that map, it's not a surprise that FaZe, who is looking pretty hot with their numbers on the attacking and defensive win rate, it's like we're seeing a complete mirror reverse of what we saw in the first map.
Absolutely. I mean, the two stat lines between these two teams are in a way mirror images, and that actually goes the same if you look at anecdotal evidence from the previous times these teams have played, right? Last time Soniqs played the map, it was 0-7 to Empire. The time before that, 3-7 to Elevate. On the side of FaZe Clan, I mean, they've been having a laugh when it comes to Villa. They went 7-1 against Cyclops and 7-3 against Rogue. So this is clearly going to be a FaZe favored map.
Who did FaZe lose it to? The only team they ever lose to, which is Liquid, right? So I feel like this is absolutely a FaZe stronghold.
Okay.
And I feel like Soniqs have really got to pull. It might be the time for not even Grix to go kill. Throw every strap back out the window, find a way to win. Because it's not working.
Jackie, pull us in, rein us in. No, Jackie, because if we jump on the train of this,
I wanted
never
to
stop.
ask y'all predictions, but it sounds loud and clear to me. Fresh hot seat first.
I can't see a world where FaZe don't win this 2-0.
All right, FaZe.
I was sitting on the desk. I said, stop cursing it. Both of these guys, they kept saying their predictions. We know what they are. Okay, sure. I would love to see Soniqs flip back on this map and take it to a third map. Do I think it's possible? Probably not.
Here, I got one fun one for you. We got Sewer in the tournament.
yes.
We're hanging out a bit with him, and he had a really hot take. He says if Soniqs win this match, then they go and win the whole tournament. Look, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not what he said.
That's what he said.
I swear he said if they win the first map, or they don't win the first map, they lose the series.
I'm pretty sure he said if they win this match, we're going to have to go and get confirmation
Get him
after
out
this
here.
map. But let's just put it out there. FaZe absolutely favored for this whole series now.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna have to go check in it with Sewer and clarify
Yeah.
that there. But all right, map 2, Villa. Who's it going to? Soniqs or FaZe? Twin turtlenecks, take it away.
Well, I mean, we did match our outfits after what we saw this morning between Ace and Dez matching their beautiful pastels. We decided to go with a different color palette, but we still matched it nonetheless. And I love that at this moment you are more of like a summer or more of an autumn, and I am very firmly a winter. So a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, and I mean, Turtleneck Soldiers, we did play Invitationals under that name, I believe. So Turtleneck Troopers, actually.
Turtleneck Troopers, that is correct.
Yeah, we lost every single game you can imagine.
We were awful.
And
we were
that's
so bad.
Kind of what we see from Soniqs in this matchup, right? They've lost almost every single round. The few that they won were scrappy. And we just heard the analysts talk about who's going to take Villa. And it was a very similar story that they were singing where it's very one-sided.
Well, I mean, if I was to ask you, do you think that FaZe Clan is going to win Villa? What is your answer right now?
In a yes or no series, yes, they win Villa. But there's also an explanation about, right? If Soniqs can get super proactive, super active, aggressive, shut down FaZe, and be the better team and better players, they have a chance.
Yes.
A few
If.
boxes to fill.
If, obviously.
Yes.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
And if pigs could fly, we'd have an alternative method of transportation.
Okay.
So, lots of things at play right now. We're going to load into map number 2, Soniqs versus FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan up 1-0. This is their map. This is home turf. This is familiar ground. And they start on attack. The Soniqs going to defense first, and as was shown, in terms of attack and defense win rates for the Soniqs, that is very good. In case you didn't see the graphic, the Soniqs have just a 22% win rate on attack. Now, obviously, those numbers are going to be skewed because of the destruction that Team Empire caused for the Soniqs. But the Soniqs have played this map 3 times. So even if you go 0-6 on one half, 22% is still quite low.
Not just that, but also, of course, you can argue that... Actually, that's it. That's all you can argue, yeah. Of course, that's 7-0.
You can't even defend them.
Oh, I tried to. I was like, let's think of something right now. There is nothing. The stats don't lie. But, okay, I'll defend it this way. Just because you're bad in the past doesn't mean you have to be bad in the present or the future. So
Operator,
still turn around.
Operator bans are in. Nick, it's a Flores ban yet again. They, don't want to deal with this operator, but more importantly, as we said during Oregon, this is a very comfortable operator for FaZe Clan. Getting rid of Flores means a comfort pick for FaZe is gone. It also means that a really crucial operator who can deal with all the nonsense that is presented on some of these defensive sites, that means that that operator's not available. Now, with a Hibana ban, we've seen some small changes to the operators that are removed from action. Flores and Valk banned both maps now by the Soniqs, but FaZe Clan being a bit more versatile. While they might have taken out the Ying and the Wamai in map 1, it's Hibana and Kaid unavailable for this map.
Yeah, so the Kaid is interesting because Thatcher is on the board. But again, if you take the Kaid away from the game, you don't have to worry about playing the Thatcher at all. And I think that's what you're going for here. Villa is a very hard map to actually get much breaching capabilities on. And we're seeing an AVG defense first time here from the side of Soniqs. And this bomb site in particular is where the Flores is very strong, right? Because when you play on top main or just playing on bomb side, those Terra drones do a ton of damage. And Soniqs right now, they're not just playing top main, they're extending to master bedroom, triple wall reinforcement. Good job at getting active on the map, boys, because you need to match FaZe Clan to have the slightest chance of winning. It really is do or die. It's your final map if you're Sonic. If you lose this, you're going home. You need to win this map or go out with a bang.
Well, it's a long trip back to Las Vegas from Sweden. Nick? You don't want to find yourself on a plane tomorrow. The Soniqs, this full court press of a defense, right now over by Trophy and Statuary, but fear not, that's not where the bomb site is. It's an AVG defense, but still you want to extend out to this portion of the map. Hold on to all of the walls leading into Master. First pick is going to go to Grixer. He guns down Cameraman on a swing in through Astronomy, and unfortunately for the Soniqs, they immediately lose it back. But Grixer still looking to continue that hot streak from map number 1. He's already picked up 2 kills, and again, the Soniqs lead in terms of numbers.
Absolutely. I think Grixer dropped 13 last map on Oregon, and I would even argue that that's not a lot for Grixer. He can drop a lot more. So if FaZe Clan can somewhat contain him from popping off too hard, that is going to be your key to success. If Grixer doesn't do well, Soniqs typically doesn't do well. And you have a trio from FaZe, Astro, Cyber, and Bullet. They're all top 3 in kills previous map, and they haven't slowed down throughout this entire tournament. Astro in particular, Fresh spoke about it on the desk. He said, meh, not that impressive. But at this particular event, he's been really, really big for FaZe.
Yep, that's what happens when, again, you have so many tools at your disposal, as we see out of FaZe Clan Nick. So if you're the Soniqs, you need to step up a little more. Grixer was phenomenal in the previous map, but the rest of the team and some of the supporting cast had some struggles. Rexon in particular, not to single him out, has shown that he needs some time to settle in. Rexon's first map stats are not particularly good, and they don't pass the eye test. Obviously, you'd need some proper analytics to really dive through. FaZe Clan, by the way, they might trail in numbers, but they're looking to pull something off. Opening up one of those panels into Vault will allow them some pressure so that the Soniqs can't rotate as easily.
You got Souls on the balcony now rotated around. Something to note, the vault hole here, you cannot go through it. It's only a peak angle. That means less pressure from the side of FaZe and Soniqs. They can be very happy about that.
Grixer's going to be the one making the calls with 30 seconds to go. And FaZe, with the diffuser in hand, will need to walk in. It's the Nook who has it. There goes the Pulse to continue calling. A missed opportunity. 3 kills for Grixer, but that's it. Souls now tussling with one player on the shield, finishing off Grixer. Out-dueled inside of the bomb site. Now he will need to be bled out. Bullet tries to go on in, and no, it's the joint SMG-11 combo of Kansan and Super. The very first defense, a success for the Soniqs.
And the opening kill as well. So Soniqs, they tried to match and set the tone for this round to come, this series to come. Something they didn't do on Oregon, because the first round that Soniqs had, they were absolutely AFK, away from the keyboard on their basement defense. 0 roam, 0 aggressiveness on the map, 0 activation. And this first first round. It was a full-on extension. Grix are on below, and that's what they gotta do.
Well, Cyber was very quick to the punch there as we saw the room upstairs. Surrendered relatively quickly. This is the big stylistic difference between the Soniqs and FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan get the kill and they stand their ground and they push for more. Very rarely do we see them concede. The Soniqs, though, they get the pick and then they immediately fall off. I love it. I love that we get to see them and we get to hear them.
Is that the first time they've done that particular voice camera situation? Because I don't think I've seen it before.
Usually you don't hear what the players have to say.
Yeah, right?
Yes. Usually you don't hear what the players have to say. You just see it. There's a brief tech issue right now as one of the players is having an issue with their camera.
It's the keyboard. Oh, okay, okay.
No, it's not.
I was predicting the keyboard.
The keyboard buff was real, by the way.
It was? That's what I'm saying.
Keyboard buff was very real for FaZe Clan. Maybe they need to swap out back to the other one. No, there was an issue with one of the cameras. Hold on a second here. Bullet doesn't have a matching background on Thatcher. Oh, no. That's the round.
It shows two things. One, FaZe has lost the round. And two, it shows how little FaZe has played Thatcher because he's either always banned or just not required. And that is just such a shame because honestly, I mean, with FaZe having everyone's favor on this map and now they've lost it because of the lack of that missing background synergy, that's not boding well. Skinergy, sorry, that's...
Not synergy.
I'm still not comfortable with that name.
Skinergy.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I don't think it's a real word either. I think you made it up and you now put it into existence by saying it on stream.
It's a portmanteau. It's skins and synergy smashed together into one word.
Skinergy.
I didn't make it up. I would appreciate it if people thought I was that clever, and maybe I betray myself by being honest, but I'm not clever enough to come up with that. Somebody who is greater than me, a better wordsmith.
How humble of you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't need to constantly remind people that I'm a two-time back-to-back word.
But now you know. Now you said it. I don't even gotta make you do it anymore. Thank you so much, Parker.
You
really
very
do
welcome.
appreciate it.
By the way, one thing about FaZe Clan that has been discussed a few times on the desk is the core of this roster and FaZe Clan as a team have never made the final four of a 6 Invitational, which is crazy to think about. How long has this roster been around? And yet, making it to the final day or two of SI has simply eluded them. Astro is in the middle of the bomb site, by the way.
Again!
While we're talking about it, FaZe's ability to find avenues into the middle of the bomb site continue to impress. This round is no exception. And it feels like he heard what Jack said on the desk. And he said, and I took that personally, Grixer and Kansan are both gone. Those are, in many instances, your two most lethal weapons for the Soniqs. This is not ideal. And look at where the Soniqs are. They're over in Study. They're over in AVG. They have to retake the bomb site. They have completely forfeited control. No flawless, as there's a kill from Rexon on the cameraman. Diffuser getting planted, and Astro started it. Astro ends it.
Okay.
FaZe equalize.
And that's one of the situations where Soniqs looked really good the first round, and then FaZe just said, we don't care, right? We'll find that opening that you mentioned on Oregon, Parker, that small gap in your defense, and we will absolutely abuse it and just take control. I didn't see exactly what happened. I think the injury was from that bore window leading into Trophy, because that window was previously opened up, and nobody from Soniqs was seemingly covering it, and seeing as Super was on the Astro stairs, well, Astro didn't walk up that stairs. I mean, it wouldn't be possible. Unless he rappelled down the scatter and rappelled into side, he had to come from bore window. But the fact that Soniqs allows for that opening to happen is just a little bit absurd. Nothing to stop it, nobody to watch it, and you basically lose the entire round of a simple vault into side. Well done from Astro, good read, good drone work, and really nice aggression.
I want to take 1 second here while we're now getting underway in round number 3 to go back to something we talked about in round number 2, or rather, sorry, in map number 1, as we now see what happened in round number 2 on your screen and all the various kills. Dark Zero, when they left, they said, you know, we wanted to take this as a learning experience. We're happy with the result. If the Soniqs win or lose, I assume we're going to see the same thing. This might actually be overachieving where they thought they would be at this stage in the event. Tweeted out by Sensei. one of the coaches/managers of Liquid who's been around the scene forever, tweeted out in Portuguese, but using a translation, says, leaving the rest of today to digest today's results. But I'm glad that a new lineup with 2 players who had never played internationally before reached the top 6. Congratulations to MIBR for the victory and the campaign in this Invitational. I'm feeling that this year is for Brazil again. And that's exactly what we talked about with the Soniqs as well. There are a lot of teams here that, because of the COVID situation and because of roster changes, they haven't had a lot of international experience. This is the prime time to do it and get yourself some of that crucial experience to take moving forward.
And a lot of favorites are not really here anymore, right? Because of crazy upsets. So you will see teams with less experience making that top 8, top 6 because they fought so well during the stage 1 and stage 2 of Invite. And now they're in stage 3. They've made it further than anyone could ever predict and arguably further than their own expectations. You can argue that for Soniqs, yes, it's a massive victory.
I mean, with the Soniqs, I hate to say this, they lose Yeti. 1 minute into action and already he's been cleared apart. The bomb site is kitchen down below, and we'll see what FaZe can cook up now. But back to the point. I didn't have the Soniqs making top 6.
No.
If you look at the teams in North America, you fall back on the old reliable teams. You look at TSM, who are here, by the way, playing tomorrow against Team Empire in the upper bracket, and one of those 2 teams will go to the grand finals. But I'm also looking at Space Station. I'm looking at Oxygen, who are always so consistent when they have a full roster internationally. So you can raise your hand if you predicted any of these teams in the final 6. Hey, you got some staple names. Most people expected Liquid, most people might have expected TSM, FaZe as well, but there have been some surprises. And it's always nice to get that experience. There's another kill that comes in, by the way. It's Grixer taken out by Cyber, and he has not moved off of his spot upstairs.
Cyber actually has had a pretty rough tournament on this soft breach vertical roll on Sledge and Buck. He usually dies first, but this time around he doesn't, and he finds so much value. 5-1 to his name, 2 kills on the vertical now. And Bullet, well, on the Thatcher, they have managed to breach open the Pantry wall, giving a good line of sight into bomb site.
What a flick!
Doesn't seem to know.
Almost a flawless as well. It was Rexen to deny a flawless in the previous round. All he needs is a single kill. There it is, both times. FaZe clan will not be able to get away. Another kill for Rexen. This is huge, but he has wrong intel as to where the diffuser is being planted. He's also given his position away, playing off of this reinforcement. Inside, he knows there's one. A nice flick, but he's only good for 3. 2 successful kills. A down doesn't quite count. And on their own map, FaZe is now up 2-1.
Yeah, something worth noting actually is that Soniqs right now, between the remaining teams at Invite, they are arguably one of the most clutch teams still here. And we haven't seen a ton of clutching from them because FaZe aren't allowing them to. Of course, that was a 1 versus 5. You should never, ever lose a 1 versus 5 when this is like a Echo with a Yoka drone, you know, denying the planet 0 seconds. But FaZe in general, they're not giving Soniqs those 2v3s or 2v2 victories. FaZe clan are claiming all of those rounds. And that's why Oregon looked so one-sided, because whenever it was close, it really wasn't. And that's the story that FaZe are showing us time and time again. Here, Kansen swung the breach, didn't seem to know it was open, or at the very least, he white swung without really shooting back. It was Rexen to find 2 kills and an injure, but that doesn't get you anywhere. It simply just doesn't matter. Impactless kills, as Parker says, as, well, the round was over.
It's still nice for your stats.
Oh, it's super wonderful for your stats.
Especially to give Rexen some motivation to continue to improve, as we talked about. And this is something that I actually love to see the stats on, because I don't think it got pulled during the pre-show, was Rexen's stats on map 1 versus Rexen's stats on map 2 and 3. Because from what I can remember, and I feel like at this point I have now watched all of Soniqs matches, same with FaZe, is that Rexen always struggles on map 1, always.
Interesting.
He takes some time to get up to speed, and if he doesn't struggle on all of map 1, he struggles for at least half of it, and then he starts to come online. He almost never has immediate impact, at least from what I can remember. And it would be interesting to see, irrespective of what happens with these results, it would be interesting to see what those numbers are for Rexen.
I'm really curious if that ADS can be shot if you simply repel upside down on the Astro window. Not that we'll see it because Solosy leaves the area. Once again, Soniqs, they're extending across the map as you so should. They got to rotate this time around instead of Astro so that they can shoot any Selma charges going out. They didn't do that the previous round, so Souls just breached it. They rotated around, it was easy for them. And FaZe, they're doing this thing they do so well. They're just not doing anything, right? They go fast the previous round, now they go slow. And Soniqs, they want to match the aggression. They're out on the map, but FaZe, they aren't giving them gunfights.
I mean, the way you said that certainly makes it seem like you just said FaZe are good at nothing. There goes Super, by the way, first pick. That's a whole lot of nothing that FaZe is doing there, Nick. To take out the smoke, now it's Rexen down for the count. That is a fight over by 90. Grixer removed as well. A swing, a desperate attempt. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but those don't need to be successful. Well, they didn't do it for 2 rounds, but finally FaZe get there flawless. If you think about it, 3 rounds in a row that have almost been flawlessly run by FaZe. This is an incredible 3-round showing.
I take it back. FaZe are good at everything. I mean, they did exactly what I spoke of, even though I might have worded that poorly, is that they're really good at changing up their pace from going super fast to super slow to pretending as if they aren't moving, but in reality, they're just setting up and then they go super fast. We saw it that round. It was a 5 versus 5. They became 5 versus 1 within like 5 to 10 seconds. And yeah, it's that EU playstyle with the LATAM aggression. Their information game is so important. You can argue that playing Mutant Mossy might actually have a big effect against them because you deny intel, you deny drones. Same reason why getting aggressive as a defender and shooting those drones as they progress throughout the map, super important as well. And then, well, the issue is that FaZe also have 5 formidable gunners. I mean, they have this special effect just like BDS does where their support player of Bride is such a phenomenal player at clutching and shooting. Well, Souls is exact same, often referred to as the LATAM Bride, because he's not a support player playing support. He's an amazing gunner that just happens to be on the support role. When we put Souls on Ace with the AK-12, it really is just a clear-cut situation of Souls is just better than so many players here.
This is, again, discussed ad nauseum about this FaZe clan and how strong they are all the way down the board. The depth is really incredible on this team and is something that all of the Brazilian teams have. MIBR, who have surprised a lot of people with this run, have that same level of depth too, where at any given moment somebody on the team can step up. The Soniqs have always been a bit of a top-heavy team, but the problem is
the most top-heavy.
The most top-heavy, as you pointed out. That yawning chasm between Grixer and Super, you said, was 160 some odd kills. So the thing is that Grixer has shown up almost every single match. But when you start to get to the best teams at the tournament,
it's not enough.
It's not enough. You need that greater depth. You need that greater level of consistency. That's honestly one of the reasons why MIBR has been succeeding so much. They're not particularly flashy. They're not putting on clinics, but they are never out of any round that they're in. They are always in competition. So even though they don't put up 7-1s or 7-0s, even if they don't have players like Felapox or Luka dropping 25 kills, everybody is doing their part. Everybody is pulling their weight, and they are never, ever letting their opponents get too much of a lead on them.
So FaZe started on the master side, then they just slowed down, they held angles. Soniqs didn't move into their guns, so everyone's still alive. But FaZe are really keeping Soniqs guessing, where is this attack coming from? Because they haven't made their mark anywhere specifically on the map just yet. And you see, it is a standstill. We're waiting for that drone intel to come out. 6 more drones, 5 more drones now from FaZe as Soniqs. They're killing drones and falling back 1 room at a time, doing a good job of slowing them down. And now, if Soniqs can stay alive and keep their guns up, this is how they win the round, because time is ticking down.
Oh, what happened with that Gon 6 to get eaten by an ADS? Because it takes an awful lot for the shield to go, but Super falters. Bullet now watches Grixer on the flank. Cannot outduel the Goya, who's still down below. Damage being done, but Grixer gets away, seemingly with his life intact. That's okay, because he's got a long run back to the bomb site. It's another crack at Aviator Games for the Soniqs.
This grenade is gonna land true.
Beautiful toss on to Kansan, as you discussed. Rexen sees him, but Cameraman wins the gunfight on Rexen. How is this happening? The Soniqs, right now, immobile. They are just caught and stuck, and there's nowhere for them to go but down. Yeti without a kill to his name. Can he get even a single one? No. The FaZe wave crashes against the shore. Only a single kill in that round. Oh my goodness, what are we witnessing?
So in the last 4 rounds, basically every kill has happened with like 1 versus 5s almost, right?
So in round number 2, Soniqs got 1 kill.
Yes.
In round number 3, 2 kills and a down.
Yeah, in a 1 versus 5.
In round number 4, 0. In round number 5, 1. So over the last 4 rounds, you have managed to get a kill a round. That's it. That's your average. 4 kills, 4 rounds.
Yeah, that is going to be the signal here. We see the replay coming through. We were just told that Soniqs did call a tactical timeout just now, and I think this is the moment for it.
I mean, at what point else do you call it? Because FaZe Clan are storming to a 5-1 half.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I've seen over the last 4 rounds that gives me confidence that the Soniqs will be able to reel this one in. Now, the only thing I could potentially wonder is a living room library. It's a curveball. Some teams might not be expecting it. It might not be the most successful bomb site for the defenders. But at this current moment, coming into this matchup, FaZe Clan had a 61% win rate on attack. That's actually lower than the Soniqs, who had a 67% win rate on defense.
Yep.
The fact that Villa is a defender-sided map, those numbers right there should mean the Soniqs skate to a 4-2 half. At minimum. At minimum. But that's not what's happening right now. It's 4-1. And the last 4 rounds, the Soniqs have put on some of the worst siege from them at this event outside of the last time they came to Villa. So this team, the Soniqs team, is very much better than the result that we're seeing right now. FaZe is, of course, an incredible foe. But the Soniqs need to settle the team down and figure out what the hell is going on, because they have completely lost control of this map, and they are just barreling towards a 7-1 or a 7-2 exit here on map 2 and an exit from the 6 Invitational.
In the perfect world, Soniqs would just have had to win Oregon, their map choice, because then you can lose Villa and just be like, whatever. And you go Chalet. Chalet's a map that a lot of teams, they ban against Soniqs, and I think they can be quite formidable on it. And I also believe that FaZe typically bans it themselves, so that's where Soniqs would like to go, that third map.
I mean, the Soniqs map pool in North America was funny because they only played Oregon and Clubhouse, and they only played Chalet. They played a lot of Consulate, and they just kept going to the same maps over and over and over again. But they were doing well on them. And teams kept criticizing their map pool. Well, Villa shows that there's a glaring hole in this map pool. Nice shot from Kansan. Well, if you're averaging a single kill a round, Kansan's just giving you a huge leg up. He loses some HP, but there's a Thunderbird in play, and now Cameraman goes down. The Soniqs are playing very aggressively off-site, and this is where a comeback needs to happen.
Yeah, and this also means Cyber is now off the board. It's a kitchen defense, so the verticality is super important for FaZe, and they almost have nothing left now. It's going to be 3 breaching charges from Souls on the Ace. That's the only vertical damage you can do. So Soniqs, here comes the test for you. Can you stick to your guns?
And the big difference was last time Cyber walked in through Master, went to Statuary, got 2 picks from that position, tore up the floor, and it displaces the defenders down below, not only giving your team a major numbers advantage, but also it flushes the defenders out.
Astro.
Astro's in, but it's read so well by Kansan, another pick for him. Right now, FaZe are the ones who seem a little bit rudderless in this round. A 2v5. How poetic would it be for the Soniqs to win this round flawlessly and send the first half away?
Be good for their confidence at least. And FaZe, I don't know, it seemed very messy from them. They gave the 1v1s, didn't have a lot of trading capabilities, and they played a very different pace in the previous rounds where they just kind of went very solo. But that's the thing about FaZe, that they try out different paces throughout a match and see what kind of sticks. And when they get the side swap, I have an idea of what they can do in defense as well. In this 2v5, make that a 1v5 as this flawless round is coming very, very close to the end.
Well, there's a pulse in play as well, and Grixer knows where Soul's location is. That's the art door that's now been opened up, and Souls can work his way towards the bomb site. Plenty of time to go. Could he potentially play the spoiler here and prevent a flawless? So many rounds the Soniqs denied FaZe the flawless that they so desperately craved. Souls could do the same. He's just biding his time at this point. I'm imagining the rest of the team will be giving calls and comms. Soul sees his first bit of action over by Memorial. Selma's going off, but Souls now marches towards the doorway into kitchen. A goo mine in front of him, but he can evade that for now. He's got a small opening that he can go with. Too many angles for him to look at. Swing or be swung, but Souls does not want to give them an inch. He loses most of his HP. They're going to gang up on him and collapse. A nice kill from Souls. No flawless. Grixer's a second too far behind. It was a technicality. We knew it was over. Souls knew it was over.
Yeah.
You knew it was over. And that's the first half in the books. An unbelievably strong showing from FaZe Clan to go up 4-2 on a side that should have favored the Sonics, but didn't.
Yeah, now Sonics have to match that exact tempo, right? 4-2. If you get 4 rounds as Sonics, you're in 6 rounds. If you get 2 rounds as FaZe, you're in 6 rounds. So we gotta get back to that. This first kill battle from Kansan was amazing. Then cameraman ran in with no information and therefore died. It's a bit of an amateur mistake from FaZe, getting a little bit too aggressive, if you will. But the one thing about that first kill on Kansan to note is that somebody else opened up the window from an angle that didn't appear to be from the right-hand side, but from the left. But Kansan swung the right regardless, reading that situation from FaZe, and got a really good opening kill for his team as a reward. FaZe will do the same thing as the Sonics did and start on their AVG side of things, but the one difference is that they're bringing the mirror. And with these walls being soft, we can assume that actually, the reinforced both walls, I take it back. We cannot assume a mirror on the on side of here, but surely they'll be extending over to that master bedroom side. They'll be reinforcing 2 walls on that triple wall, put down 1 mirror into possibly, but the other area you can put it on is, of course, inside of Astro. Something we saw Darkseer themselves do when they extended on Villa, and that multiple teams have tried to replicate with mixed success. It's one of those, well, if attackers, they know how to play against it. It can be quite easy to pull apart. There is that Astro Mirror that we spoke about. And Sonics, they have brought out the Thatcher and they're playing the Ace on the Summers on the Ace. So they have the tools that they need to really go head on into this attack.
Well, first half in the books, let's take a step back and look at what happened. There was no living room library defense for the Sonics. They favored the same 3 bomb sites. They went to Aviator and games 3 times. They won it the very first time. Next 2 times, no dice. Kitchen then twice as well. The Sonics won it on their very last attempt. Trophy was an L. FaZe Clan, they won rounds 2 through 5, 4 rounds in a row. They got the opening pick in all 4 of those rounds. They got a diffuser planted in one of them as well. In fact, there is a 100% conversion rate for the team that does get the first pick through those first 6 rounds. So that is going to be something to keep an eye on. Even though round number 5 was a trade, it still was a couple seconds of FaZe supremacy.
So Gertrude tried to toss his drone to the roof, the Twitch drone that is, and jump down to the skylight, but he misjumped, and now the Twitch drone cannot get into this area of the map, cannot open up the canisters, and that's gonna make Sonics either have to wait for the second drone to come around or simply slow down. They have the Thatcher they can just simply use with the Ace, but Yeti is roaming alone down below. That's usually his role of playing this like sneaky operator lineup, but when you're playing the Thatcher, you're needed with the team because now you're stuck. You cannot breach the wall.
There's the Twitch drone.
Yep.
You talked about it.
Good value.
It can jump now, by the way, if you haven't watched in quite a while. That's one change, and another change to it is that the Twitch drone taser has unlimited length. You don't need to be up close and personal anymore. Kansan gets an easy pick on the cameraman, and a second could be found as well, as he's now repositioned. Look at where he's sitting. He's managed to take the other side of the mirror window.
That he is, and Yeti is now creeping up the red stairs, cutting the rotation from FaZe, so Sonics have a very clear line in the map right now of what their control looks like. Anything from this area of red stairs all the way back to master bedroom, Astro room is theirs. And the half from there here on up onto statue, that is the side of the defenders of FaZe. So now, 50-50 split down the middle with a minute to go.
And there's only 3 drones available for the Sonics as well. FaZe have done a deft job of opening up and taking access of those drones away from the Sonics, which for a bomb site like Aviator Games isn't the worst. There's only common spots that you know somebody's going to be playing in. Vault, for example, which is the target of the Sonics. Down goes Yeti. The Vault still seems at least in control of FaZe, even if it's been opened up. Astro on very limited HP. Swats away one of the few remaining drones for the Sonics. They've still got 2 at their disposal. And now it will be a repositioning. Nade goes in. Astro's been down. Cyber falls as well. Bullet, a nice double piece. Rexon is dropped, and it doesn't look like there's an adrenal surge to get him up. That leaves Super in the middle of the bomb site in a 1v1, but Bullet wins those. And FaZe, they do not give up. 5-2 in their favor, and they are 2 rounds away from the final 4.
That was really good swing from Astro earlier in the round, taking down Yeti. That's once again what we speak about. When you're in the lead, you need to have your gun up and available to make sure that does not happen. Had Yeti, on the other hand, shot down Astro when he swung, that's a 5 versus 3, and you regain momentum. So really, really small mistakes going in the favor of FaZe Clan. Huge punishment onto the side of Soniqs. Grixer rotated all the way to study balcony. Well done for him. And my only criticism this round, besides this gunfight right here, is that Yeti was roaming alone at floor below with the Thatcher. If you go on that master bedroom balcony, you toss out an EMP, then you can breach the wall and progress the roam clear, then you go down below to roam once you've used your utility, that's fine. But roaming from the very beginning, not getting to use your Thatcher EMPs, well, why do you play the operator?
Here we go. What's more consistent in this matchup? This FaZe lineup, or the fact that it's the same pitch every single time?
Definitely the pitch, because that one is like pitch perfect in terms of comparison. Whereas they have had a messy round here too, but the pitch stays the same.
That was the first round, by the way, where the team that got the opening pick did not win the round.
Yes.
So I spoke the conversion rate into existence.
You cursed it,
And
if
then,
anything.
and then the gods said, no longer. And that was it. They took it away from me. They took it away from you. They took it away from us. How
could they do that?
How could they do that? Huge round from Bullet, by the way. 5 and 4 is his scoreline. He gets 3 of those kills in that round. He doesn't slow down. And honestly, like, when you look at it, the way that this FaZe team continues to play, you can't ice any of these players. They continue onwards. And I agree with some of the people talking on social media and the desk as well. The only team that FaZe was really threatened by was Liquid, the one team that bounced them down. These teams play each other, what is it, 14 times? I think these two teams have played each other, I think was the official statistic.
Really good adaptation from FaZe is that they made these holes in the floor that you see here. So when Soniqs choose to breach the wall open, they have the vertical to deny the breaches on the wall with the MPs. I think we're lagging out again, unfortunately. Rexon had like a bit of a sign in his face, so I don't think he can really make a move. We'll see in just a second. But adaptation from FaZe, they open up the floor. If they try and go for the breach with those Selma charges, you can shoot them from below. That means that the Thatcher gets rendered, not useless, but now Soniqs, they have to do that second step of taking dining and control first. And Cyber on the Ella with the shotgun is a Cyber classic. If you've watched Brazil before in their domestic region of play, Cyber and Alamau, they love to play the shotgun on the Ella, even though it's nerfed in the current state.
It is. And I will say this as well, as we take a second here and we go back into the lobby and get things underway again. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to talk about skins. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to tell you what you should and shouldn't spend your money on.
Okay.
But the Ella and Zofia skins that were shown,
Oh, yes.
they're loud,
Yeah.
but I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Especially the Ella skin.
Especially.
I think that Ella headgear is one of the coolest things in the entire game. And you know what? It's peacocking. It stands out. It's not exactly a subtle headgear. You know, a lot of the meta ranked star players, they could play the operators that have the smallest headgear, lean back and forth. You know, what are you going to buy the IQ Elite? Well, of course you are. Why? Because she doesn't have that helmet on. She's got a smaller head. The Ella headgear with the white hair out and the Blues Brothers sunglasses blends in. Why are you running it? Because you can lean, and they're not going to kill you, and you can be a little bit stealthy, and they don't get to see you. You're going to stand out if you're wearing that Ella headgear, but it's pretty nice. Anyway.
Yeah. I wish you guys had the visual of Parker while he was talking as well, because
I was leaning IRL.
Yeah, he was. He was really showing the moves, if you will. But I agree. And the thing is, it is a shame that some skins from Rainbow Six Siege don't see as much play because they're not advantageous, if you will. Because we are starting to see more and more incredible skins in recent history, and they deserve to be played.
Yeah, I mean, there's you get the community that gets split. Right,
Yeah,
you
you
get the
do.
people who say, "Well, if it's a tactical shooter, of course you should be camouflaged." I always want to blend in. That's when you get the Wind Bastion, the Ember Rise skins, where you look the same color palette as any beige map. You look at Border, you look at Villa, you look at certain parts of Clubhouse.
Yep.
But then you also look at the other people who are like, "Man, it's a game where." They pull reinforcements out of a part of their body where reinforcements could never possibly hope to fit. Let's abandon realism for just a second. Anyway, that's all of us just talking about this because we are waiting to get a call as to what is happening in the matchup. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the server crashed yet again because that's what happened before. We appreciate your patience a ton. The thing is, These teams are going to be able to discuss amongst themselves what to do next. They will not be able to speak to their coaches. As you can see from your screen, Joe Bro standing there, his headset is up, he's not talking at all. Each team gets a timeout. The Soniqs use theirs at the end of round number 5, as you'll recall. So with active leadership, you can discuss what was going on in that round. In case you forgot, it was round number 8. The Soniqs on attack. They were attacking Trophy, which is where it was being defended. Rexen was very close to the bomb site, but FaZe Clan hadn't really shown much because we were only 45 seconds into the round.
No, that wasn't really shown much. The only thing that I think that Soniqs can gain from that was what I pointed out right before the unfortunate situation happened with the crash, was that they did have a significant amount of vertical holes in towards dining right below, which, you know, it was to peel off any heart breach on the wall. So Soniqs can either try and hold the vertical holes like Rexen looked like he was about to do, or they can take a player or a drone inside of dining kitchen and shut down that area of the map. We'll see if they challenge it. We are getting back into the server. You see right now, 15 seconds to go. We're on this 6-pick phase. And we'll see Cyber 6-pick that Ella like it was the previous time, because same bomb site, same operators. You can do a slightly different setup. You can do a slightly different attack. But the operators and the bomb site itself cannot change. That'll be unfair, if you will. So we're back on Trophy. We'll see if FaZe choose to do the exact same situation. But given the operators, I think they want to go 1-to-1, just like they did before.
The other thing, too, is that we talk about advantageous site selection. That was a focal point for us on Oregon. Yeah, you know what? The Soniqs did seem to be keeping close pace, but FaZe Clan had the best bomb sites they could hold on to. Aviator and Games just went in FaZe Clan's favor. No matter what the Soniqs do, this is such a steep climb that FaZe Clan will have another opportunity to go back to Aviator Games even if they lose this round or the next. Which means, again, you go back to a very favorable bomb site. Now, I will say that FaZe Clan's grasp of Aviator Games was quite tenuous. The Soniqs did show that there were things to exploit, and it was an ugly round, but it was a round that came out in favor of FaZe Clan. Not every round needs to be clean, pristine siege. Sometimes you can get real scrappy. One of the scrappiest teams in this event is MIBR, and they're now in the Final Four. And they don't give a damn if you think their style of gameplay is scrappy or not. So FaZe Clan have the advantageous side, still working in their favor. The Soniqs, a 22% success rate on attack. That is tough. And that's something that is going to have to get an awful lot better if they want to stay in this event.
Seeing the exact same approach to the round, by the way. So EMPs will come out, then a Selma charge. We gotta look at those vertical holes. See if they can peel off the heart breach from below. We see Cyber's down there, Yeti holding down the angle. And Sophia's stun comes as well. It's gonna limit your eyesight if you are FaZe, and the wall will get opened up, but it's a kill for Rexen onto Super Astro, and then now rushing to site.
Oh, they're just in. Souls greets one, and it's gonna be a brawl. This is the scrappy siege that we talked about. Another kill from Rexen. What did I say? He might not be good on map number 1, but he has dramatically improved moving forward, and it could even box FaZe out. There goes Cyber. Bullet and Cameraman will need to scramble back to the bomb site. It took a little time, but Super finally getting the diffuser down. Yeti's been punished by Cameraman. There's a Nitro cell that goes up, but it's in a completely different area code. Yeti will need to be retrieved. There we go. Adrenal Surge worked. Cameraman pattering away. Yeti says, I'll grab the diffuser and do it myself. Bullet gets spotted underneath, trying to ascend from Astro stairs. That's his teammate's namesake. Unable to duel out Rexen. He sees the legs, but he panics. And the Soniqs, proving that 22% is just a number, they answer back with an incredibly aggressive round.
It is. It's like Rexen almost did what Astro did on the other side when FaZe was on the attack, is that, well, you walk on in with zero hesitation, and you just go all the way through bomb site, you take the pick, you take the bomb site control, you lock down the area, then you hold the retake positions. Once you get into the bomb site there, as Soniqs did, the only place you can really get killed from, look at what a nice flick, by the way, is Astro stairs and then top red. It's 2 doorways and a single staircase. You see it here. Rexen held it down. Bergster flying below. If that was the before the nerf came through on that Ella, I think that gunfight goes a different way. But thankfully, the shotgun got nerfed. And Rexen, 3 kills to the round. He's now online and activated on the board. And FaZe, they're going through the bomb sites. AVG victory, trophy loss, now down into kitchen. And we see,
That shot I just hit on
that shot I just hit, that was where Rexen saying that because of that flick he had inside of Astro really opened up the round for him. They had no drones, by the way. That's just Rexen walking in blindly, by the way. Craziness, scrappiness, as you put it.
Was a very scrappy round, but once again, Scrappy works.
It does.
If it works, who cares if it's ugly? Who cares if it's not sophisticated? Your goal here is to win the 6 Invitational. Methodology be damned.
Doesn't matter how you do it, right? And playing off pace, where it's like, oh, now they're gonna breach the wall, then they're gonna drone, then they're gonna throw 2 flashbangs, 1 grenade, then they're gonna walk on in and plant. That's really predictable. If you just walk on through while you breach the wall, you're never gonna expect that as a defender, and that's why it works, even though it might be seen as stupid, overly aggressive, risky. Well, if you win, you win.
At the end of the day, sometimes dumb things work. And if you can pull it off for 1 or 2 rounds, and you don't need to repeat it, and you don't need to gamble on it not working again, then go for it. We see head-scratching plays at this level all the time, and teams will deliberately design a strategy around the unpredictable, around something that, because it is so unsophisticated, you don't expect it's going to happen. That said, that is a win for the Soniqs to inch things a little bit closer, and I like that FaZe did not go back upstairs to Trophy Statuary.
Yeah.
Third bomb site, 3rd round for them on defense.
And I really like that Yeti's now with the team using those EMPs to get the walls open before he goes to lurk. But that's Grixer now on the Nook. That's a very unique opera that he's played so far. Also on Bank when Soniqs was there. Roaming around the map, really keeping your attacker or defenders rather guessing where you might be. And we see here, FaZe Clan, they are on the cameras, but they won't know where Grixer is.
No, they won't at all. They've got a bulletproof camera up that is being watched by Astro. He feels safe enough inside of the bomb site that he doesn't need to do anything. Carrion and Bullet will now be the 2 to go on it. This whole FaZe team, obviously playing such sheltered minutes that they can go on these cams and not really worry about it. Grixer could walk right in, but he looks the wrong way. An easy pick on the cameraman, and now he can continue to march through the bomb site. A call coming in that there might be 1 from behind, but Souls is dropped by Grixer, and 2 kills to his name. A 3rd lies in wait. Plant going down from Snooper. Grixer misses. There's Yeti to go as well. Things were working out so well for the Soniqs, they now find themselves in a post-plant. Still the numbers favor them. Astro in pursuit, but he's a little bit too slow. The Soniqs have peeled off of the bomb site, and the diffuser being down now allows SQ to reposition. On the diffuser is Astro. He gets picked off by Super sitting on the stairs. Bullet to try and keep this round for his team. He sees the diffuser, but it's a perilous journey to get there. An explosion above, and he's a sitting duck to Kansan. The Soniqs, 2 rounds in a row, and it's only a 1-round lead for FaZe Clan.
22% attack and win rate? Was that it? 22%? This is looking really good so far. 66% based on my math.
I mean, you do need to then say it's because of that lopsided effort against Team Empire. But through these 3 rounds on attack, the only round that the Soniqs lost was a winnable round.
Yes. It was Bullet, actually.
It was Bullet who clutched and got a big 3K. Yep. Got the very first pick, but then after that, gets the next 2 in the tail end of the round. Grixer on this Nook, I really like what we saw. I don't know if it's going to come out again. This is the kind of pocket pick that you see once or twice.
He got 3 kills that round.
He got 3 kills that round, that is correct. He traded out, but that's good enough. The Soniqs in the post plant, mighty fine. They had enough time to get upstairs, and FaZe didn't...
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go!
Keeps going.
How many times are we going to go? Anyway. That's the kind of thing where I wish an audience was here to laugh with us about it.
Yeah. I'm sure Twitch chat is laughing with us, and YouTube chat.
I'm sure they love it. Absolutely. As for what we saw, 3 rounds for the Soniqs, they get the opening pick. They get a diffuser down there as well. They are slowly improving. But what did I say about advantageous sites? FaZe Clan going back to Aviator Games. This was the bomb site that they won on. Teams are usually most comfortable on this, and it's a more structured bomb site, especially if the Soniqs struggle to gain control of main stairs early. If they can't gain control of main stairs early, then you have a Wamire, you have a Jaeger, somebody in that area that will usually sit on it and just play time and play deployable shields and eat up your utility and eat up the clock.
FaZe has actually done a complete opposite defense here. They're actually extending below into Library this time instead of playing across instead of Master. You got a mirror window downstairs inside of what we call Vault or Mona Lisa. We call it Lisa in Pro Play at least. Looking into living room. So a very different setup. This basically means that if you have below control, you can of course C4 up to the bomb side. It also makes the direct attack from Study Balcony a lot more difficult for the attackers, but the Sonics, they've read the situation accordingly. They attack the weak area of the map of Master Bedroom. They'll get all this ground for free, but they'll have to figure out what's next, because there will be troubles on this red stairs and with that vertical from down below.
Well, it might not be the main stairs, but controlling the stairwells is so critical for these teams. FaZe sit with a minute to go. They haven't really given anything. No real roam, it seems, either on that bottom floor. As you talked about how they extended out, they've largely given it away. There goes an EMP, and Nitro Cell gets tossed out. Explosives from both teams, with the Sonics connects. ADS eats a second nade. Cameraman's safe, even if Astro's been felled by that explosive. Cameraman taking matters into his own hands. He does quite a bit of damage to Rexen. There's still 2 adrenal surges to give him a bit of a boost, and necessitates a reload. So both teams will now pause as we hit the halfway point.
Rexen actually would have died or gotten injured if it wasn't for the overheal of the adrenal surge. He popped it right before the gunfight, and it kept him alive.
Very smart. Now it's Cameraman to get spotted by Kansan. Down he goes. The Sonics have a numbers advantage of 2 and time to boot. They've only wasted 30 seconds since that initial first pick, and I don't even think you can say wasted with the fact that they managed to pivot from trophy and statuary, and they now approach the bomb site.
The issue here with extending down below is that there's no pulse on the board of FaZe, so C4s you can't use whatsoever. And I mean, you got the Mirando here on site, but that's really all you have. No C4s, 2 toxic babes, and that's it.
I mean, look what lurks below, though. Bullet has access to that Nitro Cell, but where is he going to go with it? He was critical downstairs. Look at all this utility that he's used, and it was all for naught. The Sonics didn't want to deal with it. This is a sloppy effort from Grixer. He gets punished by Cyber. That's the first kill for FaZe Clan, but more now to come out. Bullet reveals his position down below as the Nitro Cell goes off. He needs to get back to the bomb site because his teammates are being picked apart. A nice kill from Rexen. They march in. Bullet isolated. Cyber will need to clutch a second kill to his name inside a study. Diffuser almost planted, and there he goes. No return for him. The Sonics have tied the match.
I can't believe it. I can't believe they're doing so good on these attacking rounds because, well, the statistics, yeah, maybe a bit skewed from that Empire 6-0. That's my bad. That's the analyst desk bad. That is not the case of fact of reality as we're seeing right now. FaZe Clan tried to extend down below with no pulse, with Valkyrie being banned, basically with no information to work off of. So the C4s didn't do any damage. The nades, however, really, really did. And even this one player of Cameraman trying to escape the red stairs, he got shot down from that split wall being opened up. And Rexen, again, on the LMG, on the finger, does so much work. Kansan next up, but gets taken down by Cyber, leaving all poor Cyber inside of Study alone, and that's really difficult to win. Let's see. It's the let's go this time around. A little bit of a sigh on the face of Cameraman as well. Frustration being built up on FaZe as they've lost the last 3 rounds in a row.
It never stops being amusing, by the way. As much as they're celebrating, FaZe Clan is going to hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Take a timeout, slow things down, talk through it. The one thing I will say about this FaZe Clan team is they don't seem to let emotions get the best of them. When they were in trouble in Sweden at the Major, in the matches that they were in, ice in their veins. Same here. This team does not look particularly shook by what's happened on the screen thus far. I
agree with you. I did see a bit of frustration on the face of Cameraman. I mean, that for him in particular was a very frustrating round, right? You didn't win your gunfight because Finka was overhealed by the adrenal surge. Then you ran back away. You thought you got out of it, but then you got shot down your foot at the very end of that. And then you've lost the last 3 rounds in a row. You've lost every single opening pick since the side swap. Soniqs on the attack. 4 rounds out of 4 has gotten the first kill, and they've actually been able to convert that into a round victory each and every single time. Now it's FaZe going back to kitchen dining that they lost the previous time around, but they're looking to be extremely active, right? They got the Vigil, they got Melusi, they got the Wamai. You can run around and throw those discs wherever you want, and they got the information from Souls on the Evil Eyes. That just means that, well, there's no smoke on the board, so this does speak to a more aggressive situation. The one thing that's curious is there is no pulse. Normally on this dining bomb side, that's the most pivotal operator, but FaZe choose not to bring it.
Downstairs again in the kitchen. Favorable bomb sites? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't know. about FaZe as much as I thought.
It's not that simple. It never is, you know?
Oh, there's nothing simple about this game. Absolutely nothing. Even the complexities of bronze rank, not quite so simple. We see this pocket pick come out yet again. Same bomb site that Grixer was able to put a lot of influence on the round from the Nook, exploiting the blind spots that FaZe clan were so proficient on when they were on attack. Now it's the Soniqs' turn to do the same thing. But the difference is that FaZe will be wary and ready for it.
Look at Grixer.
He gets spotted, by the way, by the Banshee, and it's a drop-off, so that Melusi is expertly placed. The player as well from FaZe Clan who's inside of Astronomy seems to have fallen off. Oh no, not like this. The Soniqs lose that first pick of Kansan. Cyber sees too, but like so many before him, Grixer will win the duel, and Cyber knows what so many have felt.
Grixer's really getting in. Oh, but Astro sees the pixel of his head near that deer statue. That's not going to bode well because Grixer, he managed to find the ground, and Rexen, he's now taking control as well as FaZe Clan has fallen off the top floor. Verticality working in favor of Rexen, who's 7-0 with almost full health.
Absolutely, and he's still got 2 nades in his pocket. Adrenal surges are not available, but that machine gun is so much ammunition. Astro gets punished by Yeti. The Soniqs have full control at this point. The timeout for FaZe Clan not working out immediately the way they want, but still plenty of time for them to turn this around. The thing that FaZe needs to do is not overcommit. You are going to play for a retake at this point. You're going to lose control of the bomb site. Super will go for a plant, and you're going to have to fight for a retake. But Souls is still in the middle of the bomb site, and he doesn't seem like he wants to get removed from it. That could be a problem, because if he doesn't fall back and he tries to engage and loses that one, then it puts all on the shoulders of Bullet. The Soniqs still working this clock. They got 40 seconds to get Super in with the diffuser and get it planted.
They got some sort of info on side, but it's not accurate. The timing of Bullet here is what will have to carry the round. Souls finds that kill. That is huge for them. Bullet has to find something as well. Can't just sit still for too long. He's on that red stairs, waiting for the right moment.
And the 2 final players from the Soniqs will come from the same area, over from Laundry. Pings in, but he loses his gunfight to Super. We don't hear that all that often. Bullet now coming back through Memorial. He's got spam pings as well, but they know where he is. This is all on the shoulders of Yeti. A nice swing from Bullet. He's running from home, and he gets both of them. What a play. He had information, he had time, and he had the moxie to pull it off. Match point, series point, FaZe Clan.
Super brought Soniqs back into the round, but Bullet finished it off for FaZe. That is a nice 1 versus 2. You isolate the person holding you. It was that 1 versus 1 gunfight. Can go either way, and that's just the risk that you have to play. Yeti fell a little bit short on the statue there. We saw Cyber early on getting that opening kill. Grixer with a nice sneak inside of Deer, but got shut down eventually by Asher. Good trades back and forth. Rex in particular, outstanding performance so far. Souls really kept his team inside of this round when Bullet was waiting around, but Super with that a nice shot led that to the 2v1. There was time on the clock here. Look, 7 seconds when the bomb went down. That means, we spoke about this in Oregon, often in the 1 versus 2s, Soniqs, they tend to go for that default plant. Hold F and pray. Pray that you win the round. Super could have arguably gone off the plant there and swung 2 versus 1 with alongside Yeti and try and take down Bullet. That's what they did in Oregon. Remember on basement attack? They could have planted, but they ganged up together, they ran through the bomb site together, they took the 2 versus 1, and they became victorious. They won the round, they took it with confidence. There, it's almost like a bit of desperation, where it's like, okay, we're not super comfortable in the decision making, just go for the simple plant and pray. And the simple solution is often the best, because if you can play the advanced strategy, there's just more angles to play.
Well, take a deep breath. If you're watching this, take a deep breath. FaZe Clan have seemed like an indomitable foe to so many teams, and they just pulled off a wonderful comeback. Bullet has been the MVP of this series in my books, not just on Villa, but also on Oregon.
Yeah.
It was Cyber before, it was Astro before that. The weapons that FaZe have are so numerous and so lethal. The Soniqs are trying. They're finally waking up. Rexen was 7-0, as we talked about, just since the rehost. This whole Soniqs team putting in a far more impressive series of rounds on Villa than we've seen in a long time. We were ready to write this off after it was 4-1. But the Soniqs knew something that we didn't.
I wouldn't count them out. Not even now. That round, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck outright if you're Soniqs, but I would not count Soniqs out. They're looking so good on these Villa attacks. They just gotta do it one more time and bring it to OT and go the distance.
And the Soniqs are doing all this. With the timeout taken in round 5, they've been able to put these 4 rounds on the board with no parachute. They lose super early. That's the diffuser surrendered. Now it's Yeti's task to get it into the bomb site. But you've got less people to watch. Super down means that he's going to sit on a cam, and you need to get those drones on in. 5 drones for the Soniqs. Cyber now wanting to engage. There goes a smoke. Does he get aggressive? No, he falls back. FaZe realize that as aggressive as they can be, they need to hold on to the bomb site. Down goes Cyber. Here's Grixer on the Nook down below. And Cyber down. That's the smoke out of action. That's one less piece of denial for when that diffuser does get planted.
Yeah, and Grixer, well, he found the 1 kill, but now we need more. 2 LMGs in the hands of Soniqs here, walking onto Astro, trying to open up the round. A little bit of damage coming through, but that's all there is. Now we're going to be waiting, droning out the situation and take it a bit slower because you cannot pull the trigger just yet if you're Soniqs.
There goes Rexon. So Cameraman gets him. The advantage goes back to FaZe Clan. Grixer is down below. You do not have the luxury of time at this point. You need to get up there with your team. Souls has been downed, by the way. That's a nade that works out so well. And it finishes off with another grenade from Grixer. Good utility. Now it's a 3v3. 40 seconds left. Diffuser in the hands of Yeti. It then becomes a 2v3. This is doable for the Soniqs, but they have to go quickly because now 10 seconds have been burned and there hasn't been much movement. Are they waiting for Grixer to get into position? That's the real question. And it's exactly what's happening. He's going to try to break in through Study and possibly pinch, but you have to hurry because there's not a ton of time. There's so little time here. The Soniqs need to go. Yet he does, but it's in the wrong direction. There goes Kansan, and the best player statistically, it's all on his shoulders. Can he get it done with the clock? No, he can't. The comeback looked like it was happening, but they fall short again. And the NA League champions will have to settle for a top 5 finish, as we now know the Final 4. And FaZe Clan is among them. Tomorrow, TSM, Empire, MIBR, and now FaZe Clan will put their mark on this 6th Invitational as the Final 4. And Brazil is given another opportunity to dominate internationally again.
And FaZe gets that option to win a tournament back-to-back. They won Sweden Major, and they are now looking at a potential victory Invitationals. First time for FaZe, right? Being top 4 as well, so another title. Oh, look at that shot.
That shot was something else. And you're right. The first time this roster has made the top 4, often overshadowed. Team Liquid, Ninjas in Pajamas, MIBR. These teams that have made it to the finish line at the 6th Invitational. But now it's FaZe's turn. And it is entirely possible that they don't just win once on Swedish soil, that they do it twice, Nick.
And only in 2 games at this event have Team FaZe went to the 3rd map. They've lost 2-1, or sorry, they won 2-1 against CAG. They lost 1-2 to SSG, but it's been 2 series across the board, either when they're winning or when they're losing, and they only really lost to Team Liquid, who are no longer here. So if you look at the statistics, well, the only team to beat FaZe, they're gone, and FaZe are winning most of their matchups 2-0 in very dominant fashion.
I mean, it is hardest often to beat your teams that are in the same country or region. You play against each other so often. I don't think there's a single team at this event who knows FaZe's playstyle better than FaZe, other than maybe Liquid. That's it. So if there is a team that's going to punish you and shove you down to the lower bracket, it's going to be the team that knows you inside and out. But now that team is gone. So FaZe can continue to roll towards the finals unimpeded. Their first obstacle is MIBR tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then, if they win that matchup against an MIBR squad that has looked like they themselves cannot be slowed down, it's the loser of TSM versus Empire and then the grand finals. It is one hell of a road to make it there. But if there's a team that can pull it off, it's the team that have already won in this country just a couple months ago. With that said, Nick, that's it for you and I. We've got some wonderful analysts to go through this, so let's throw over to the analyst desk.